Go live.
All right, folks, we are live tonight. We have the esteemed William Russell on another edition of Creator Spotlight. I had the good opportunity to meet William last year at Cowtown Comic Con. We had a blast just talking about comics and books and stuff.
Yep.
And a lot of people might not know who William is, if you're not in the indie scene like we are. But he has been around for a while. You know, everybody's notoriously knows him for the Batman Who Laughs cover. That was the one that I saw first. But then when I realized, okay, he's doing all these other books, I was like, let me start reading on in on those. Let me see those. And then that's how we kind of got introduced was to Recycle Sal.
Yep.
We started talking about Psycho Sal and then some of the covers he's been doing for other places. And I've got some tonight I'll show that we picked up over the time. But this is really for Williams' time, and we're really wanting to like promote him out there. He's got a great Kickstarter going on for Psycho South 3. We'll show that a little bit later on. But let's get introduced. Where are you at, William, and where are you from, and what do you like to do?
Well, I am currently living in Mississippi. I am a full-time professional published comic artist and illustrator. I've been doing this now for about 5 years. In the last 2 years alone, I've got around 70 published covers. Everything from indie projects to retailer exclusives for Image Comics, Dynamite, things like that. Do You Poos and Hardly Thins. I've done a good bit of those covers too. I've worked on stuff like I said, retail exclusives for Vampirella, Department of Truth, Ice Cream Man, Stray Dogs, Purgatory, just to name a few. And then a lot of stuff for the indie world. I am the creator of Psycho Sal, which is about a serial killer in New Orleans in the 1980s. We're on issue number 3 that's in Kickstarter right now. I think it has 5 days left on it, and we're doing extremely well on it. We've already unlocked like 5 stretch goals, which in my opinion, what we've done on all 3 of the Kickstarters has been extremely cool, and all because of the fans and everything supporting it, which isn't easy to do with a horror comic. But yeah. As far as like what I do for fun, I don't really have hobbies anymore. Comic art kind of takes care of that. Put in tons of hours with travel and Comic-Con appearances, store signings, and everything else. So you don't really get a whole lot of time to do some, side stuff. But yeah, man, thank you so much for having me on the podcast, man. I definitely appreciate it. Any of you guys doing creator spotlights for the indie community is always a huge deal. So I am definitely glad you guys do things like that for people, and I'm glad to be here.
I appreciate you being here. I've had a couple of guys. Andrew Mangum was on here. His son Gabriel was on here recently. And then of course I work with Ethereal Comics as well. Dustin and April and all the same crew we all know.
Yeah. Dustin. I'll definitely give a shout out to Dustin and them. They're super nice.
There's some great people. We do a monthly roundup of like where they're at on ethereal stuff. So I'm working with them. It's been going for about 3 months, 4 months now working with them. They've got a lot of stuff in the pipe. But the nice thing is like they're a family oriented thing, which is nice to see, and that's what the bigger independent scene has been lately. I've noticed it's becoming more family oriented. Like you're going to see the same people in the same groups and the same things. Like the Art of William Russell, your group that you have.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people like Cameron, myself, Tom. You name some of it. We're all in the same groups. We're talking to Steph Wilson. We're talking to Carrie, and we're talking to Brian Polito. We're the Coffin guys. I'm a huge Coffin guy. You know that. So.
Oh yeah, that's actually one of my grails, because I've chatted with Brian a couple times in Messenger and stuff like that, and he's always been very polite, very cool. And I still hadn't had a chance to meet him yet. I definitely can't wait to do that face to face. But Lady Death, and that is one of my grails for sure. I hope to luck up and land a Lady Death cover one of these days. And that one's it's going to be hard to do because Brian is that type when he has his group of people that he uses on everything. He doesn't stray too much from that. And I respect the hell out of him for that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a good way to be. You show support to the people lines and things like that. But I hope like hell one of these days I can land a Lady Death cover. It is definitely one of my grails. Vampirella was one of my other ones, and I got that one. So now I'm just I'm waiting on that Lady Death chance now.
Well, and that's how like a lot of us we're all. I mean, people don't realize we're in our 40s and 50s, so we're old already. So we grew up in the bad girl eras of the 90s. With
Yep.
Vampirella, Lady Death, She, Dawn, Razor's Edge. That was our bread and
Yep.
butter back then, and that's why we are still Chastity, Purgatory. Well, Purgatory before she went to Dynamite. I'll say that. Um, but the caveat being is that was the era we all grew up in and
Yeah.
we loved it, especially when Image started out, on their own with Jim Lee and
Yep.
Jim Valentino, Liefeld, and everybody. It was a big deal to make an independent at that point because there was independence already. You look at the Bud Roots, you look at, some of the other presses out there, Amaral, and like these
Yep.
other ones, they were all around for years and years. Just they never had the publicity that the big two always have.
Yeah.
DC and Marvel is always going to have that catapult of everybody and everyone there.
Yeah.
So the catch is like as an artist or even as writers and stuff, a lot of people want to get to that state. They say, "Hey, I've made it. I did a DC book or I've done a Marvel book," and and I've talked to people who've done that, and they've said, "I did it, but then I wasn't 100% happy."
Yeah.
Because I was doing it. I was more happy doing my own thing, doing my own independent, doing, a cover for, a company out there or something.
Yeah.
Because you have more creativity, more freedom per se, and to be able to do what you want. My buddy Adam Fields, he's working on some of his stuff now with Prowl, and it was the same issue. He was doing sketch cards for Fleer for Upper Deck, and he said it was always constant, like 30, 40 cards at a time, and you don't know if they're ever going to use it, or if they do use it, they might change it. And
I mean, the sad thing is about the sketch card because I've done two. I've done two also. Well, actually, two. Yeah, I've done two for Flair Marvel, and I did set for the premiere. I mean, not set, but 30, 40 sketch cards to go with that set for premiere and for Ultra. And the sad thing is there's there's 3 pages of guidance of rules they send you that you can't do.
yeah,
I mean, tons of little things that are just that you kind of scratch your head about. But it's whatever. It's your rules. It's okay. But what makes it really odd and strange is they only pay you $3 a card to
oh
do
my
those things.
gosh,
And then on top of that, you only get paid that $3 a card if they use the card. Now, mind you, they don't send you the cards they don't use back, so that you might can send them or sell them to your fans as unused, pieces. We have no idea what they do with the cards, and we have no idea if they really did use them or didn't use them. We just have to take their word on it, and we have no clue whether they might use them in a future project. That's the real sad thing about it. So you could sit there, and don't get me wrong, drawing sketch cards, I don't care what anybody tries to tell you, that is not time consuming. Okay. I don't care whether you're doing headshots or you're doing full bodies. It's a pain in the butt drawing that small, but it's not time consuming in the sense that it didn't take you 3 hours to draw one sketch card. So I mean, when I did a set of sketch card, I did 20 of them for Gabe's Caves not too long ago, and I did 20 sketch cards in one day. So I mean, those were full color, sketch cards. But still, though, you spend a day or two drawing 30 or 40 sketch cards for that company or some of these other companies that do the same thing, and you don't know if they'll even get used. And then if they do use it, it takes you weeks upon weeks to get your little check in the mail. But like I said, if they choose not to use a certain amount of them, whether they choose to not use any of them, you don't get any compensation whatsoever, or the cards back, so you could try to recoup the time that you just spent drawing those.
And Brandon told me the same thing too. It's like if they don't use it, they hold them forever, and then you can never get them back. You can never
Nope.
really sell them again because they're their property
Yeah.
as soon as you turn it into them. And to me, that's crap. I mean, it really it is. It's like you've done the time, you've done the work. You know, they should be upfront and honest and say we're going to use it, we're not going to use it. I don't know. Do you know Bianca Thompson?
The name sounds kind of familiar,
She
but I'm
does a lot.
terrible with names. So,
She does a lot of retro sketch cards. Like she does Kickstarters for sketch
oh,
cards. Like she had Kara Nicole, she had April Reyna do some, Ruth Lucas. Which is why I pushed her over to you. I said, Ruth, go talk to William. you but that's the kind of thing is like she does sketch cards like that style, and that's all she does. She has fun doing it, and there's no like pressure. It's like the pressure is, just get it on sent out to everybody because it's already done before
yeah,
they even start the Kickstarter. So I have an appreciation for that versus the Marvel DC side of the world where it's like, okay, you guys aren't making any money. You're doing all this work and you're not getting really the credit that's due to you guys for all the time and effort you put into it. And that's like for me, like, I've had you do, a commission for me. It's like I respect the time and the effort it took you to do my commission. That's why you pay for a commission to get it done. No different if you're doing a cover for another company. You were kind of talking about this on your stream earlier, about paying people for the time they've done, working it, and then giving what you need to do. Even Jen Leonard, she was saying the same thing earlier today. They're like, just be honest, do it, communicate, give you your stuff, and don't make you wait for 2 years because what if you need to pay rent, pay bills and stuff? That's you guys' livelihoods. A lot of people don't understand that is
yeah.
that as an artist, as a writer, this might be the only thing you're doing. So you're depending on that to come in. And if that doesn't come in, now you're in the same boat every other Joe Schmo is trying to figure out how to pay your bills, and
I mean, that's definitely true. I mean, and I wish more artists and stuff would speak out on that subject matter. Sadly, too many artists lack balls. I'm sorry, it just is what it is. And I'm not saying go out there and call people out directly by their name or anything like that. Even though if more people did that, there'd be less people trying to screw each other over. That's for sure. But just talking about the behavior, not trying to take advantage of people, paying them what their fees are, or either move on to someone else. Stop trying to negotiate back end money that could never ever possibly show up. I think that's super important. I mean, because this is the only industry that I've ever worked in my life where people thinks it's okay to ask me to do free work or ask me to take back end pay if something were to end up successful. I've never worked anywhere in my life that happens as kind of often as it does here. It is definitely strange. And I think a lot of it falls on to maybe people don't really think about it that way. Cause like, I think a lot of people still think what we're doing is a hobby, and that's not it. I work more hours than most people that clock in at a regular job does. And a lot of us do that. I mean, I pull anywhere between 12 to 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. I most of the time I work part of Sundays also. Because we do all of our own promoting, we do all of our own appointment making for shows and things like that. We handle all of our travel, we handle all of our shipping and everything when it comes to this stuff. Then on top of doing art, then on top of doing social media. So I think a lot of that falls into that category where I think some people just kind of think we're still doing this as a hobby and it's not a real job to them, that somehow we have this magical other job. And I think that comes from lack of education to a degree. And that is lack of other artists and creators talking about those types of things because they're scared they'll rock the boat.
Well, and sometimes you got to rock the boat, though. If you don't rock that boat, and then say, hey, by the way, I'm doing all this work and I'm not getting paid for it, then in any other job, you just quit. You quit the job. if I'm not going to get paid for the work I'm doing, I'm going to quit the job and go to where I can feel valuable and feel used properly.
Yep.
And it's the same thing in our world, in the comic world. Like if you're working, you're writing, you're drawing, you're inking, color, whatever facet that you're doing as part of this great thing called comic community, you should be paid for your time. In either in books as comps, like you're supposed to get, pay for the original sketches and things that you're doing, or inks or colors, depending on what it is, how far you go. But that's all should happen. And that shouldn't even be a second question. You shouldn't have to go ask them for that.
Right.
It should be an automatic. Okay, here you go. We're going to take your cover. We're going to put it in this Kickstarter. We're going to put it in this company. We're going to sell it. It's going to have X amount of variants or X amount of limited amount, and then after that, okay, here you go. And then it give you at least the comps and or at least the APs, because you worked it, you did it, you deserve it, and really it should come down to, they ask you, all right, how many do you want? Like, do you want 5 APs or do you want 10? And then they just print them out for you, because that's part of it. They've made the money on it already.
Yeah.
By the time the comps come, they've already sold the books. It's already been shipped out. They've made the money off of it. So there's no reason why you shouldn't get yours.
Yeah.
And that's always frustrated me, even when I was a kid, because I remember talking to like Chris Bacalo, and the old guys from the 90s, and they were saying the same thing. They're like, we're working and working and working, and we're not getting really paid. We're not getting what we should get, and that's why Image started, Valiant started, these companies started because they got tired of being pushed around, and now in our independent side, everybody can do that. And there shouldn't be a scared moment of like, if I say something, it's going to go everywhere and everybody's not going to hire me anymore. That should never be the part of it. It should be, hey, I've got a problem. We're trying. I mean, you went through that with the books and stuff, earlier this year, trying to get the extra books back for everybody else, with the fiasco. And I heard enough about it to know that you don't treat people that way.
Oh, you're talking about BNS Comics bullshit?
Correct.
Yeah, that was insane.
That I'm actually going through a similar situation now with a Kickstarter where there's such a lack of communication. It's been over a year, and it's like, we're all asking, where's our books at? Where's our stuff at? We paid a year ago. Yeah. No updates, no nothing. You need to send something out or start sending refunds, back to us, because we're your fans. We're here to support you. And if you're going to treat us like crap, we're not going to be your fans anymore.
And that's what I keep trying to tell like people when I do the videos and I'm talking about these behaviors, because there's a lot of fans out there they keep running back to the shitty people, and while they're ignoring people who make them a priority, and that is like I've joked about this a lot of times with some of the other creators and stuff, and even on my live video, like this whole comic art world thing is like a bad relationship some days. You can sit here and be, as a creator, you can put fans first, you can do giveaways, you can do all these things to make them a priority and show them how much you appreciate them. And then you can have this other person over here who never talks to their fans, never does giveaways, never does any type of sales or anything like that. And people are just like crawling up their leg like there's no end to tomorrow, while the people who actually are putting in the customer service side of the career path kind of just get ignored to a degree. I mean, you got your loyal fans that always are going to support you, but just like I've watched people ignore things we've got going on, and not just me, but other people that fit into my bracket, so to speak, ignore the things that's going on, and they'll run over here and back this person who's constantly scamming people. I mean, like this whole bullshit with this Kyle dude. That's about as much of his names I'm going to drop, because his name is in a lot of groups scamming people. And I keep trying to tell people, if you have an artist, or a flipper or seller, and every damn other week they've got a family emergency and they need to sell this and sell that to raise money, you can just about bet that's a scam. But it's amazing the amount of people that'll run to it, just like with this artist guy who has already scammed several of the people that are on my friends list. where I've seen them making posts that, hey, can you answer me? You owe me art from 2 years ago, et cetera, et cetera. You're ghosting me. Like they're trying to call him out publicly. And then I commented on one guy the other day. I was like, man, I'm so sorry this happened to you, but how the hell do you guys not know that this guy has done this? Like, I'm not even looking. And I see his name pop up in groups that I'm a member of, including like the Comic Bureau or Scam Artists or whatever groups. Not even just those, but like the other actual groups. I was like, I'm not even looking for his name. And I've seen the post. How do you not see it? And you're constantly surfing them. He's like, man, I know. This is actually the second one he's into me for. I saw him make a post a little while ago, and he had this family emergency, and I was just trying to stop helping people like that. Those are not the people you want to help, because they're not looking for actual help. They're looking to scam you because they done blew the money that people already given them, and they're too busy sitting around bullshitting, playing Xbox, doing whatever the hell else instead of putting in the work. Because you want to know what a real artist is going to do when there is a family emergency and they do need some financial quick money help. They're going to set their ass down for about 8 hours one day, and they're going to draw about 20 damn head sketches of characters. And then they're going to put them on their Facebook page and say, hey guys, something came up. I need some help. Here's all these books. They're done, ready to ship. They're such and such price a piece. That's what a real person will do that has something that has happened. They won't be someone that goes, hey, emergency. Here's a commission list, 11 by 17, full body, full background, $50, when it should have been a $300 piece. That should be a red flag right there. So I felt so bad for him, but like I told him on the post, and I said in the video the other day, I was like, y'all got to take some responsibility for yourself. Stop giving your money to shitty people.
Yeah. And that's the catch-22 is like, and I understand people go through hard times. There is that thing. There's also a thing called goods and services too. If you're doing through PayPal, and that's the thing. If you personally know the person, you know what kind of, how they are in real life, not just how, like for you, for example, like I see like when your granddaughter was born, like when your family was, going through, like, we actually talked about things like that. And it's because we want the best for you. We want the best for your family. Like if you tell me, hey, Nate, I'm selling books. Can you help me out? I'm going to buy some books, to help support you, because we're friends. We've been at this for a while, but those kind of like rambling things that keep going on and on. I've seen that in a lot of places too. Now, granted, people do make mistakes, and I've made mistakes too, but you got to own up to your mistakes too. Go take responsibility.
There's a difference. See, I'm not, I'm not no angel by any means. I've got my flaws, but I was raised old school by my grandparents, and so I'm real black and white when it comes to certain things. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to scamming people out of their hard-earned ass money, I don't believe in there's mistakes and you can improve and you can get better from that, because I think that tells me who you are as a person when you're screwing people out of their hard-earned ass money. Exactly. You don't accidentally screw somebody.
No.
So, shit like what he's doing is like, I get what you're talking about. That people make mistakes. Maybe you got behind on your commissions, and maybe you did play a little too many video games and you let things distract you. And like, I get that. I get that, because you can have those moments where this can get overwhelming unless you have a very hard constitution. It can get overwhelming real quick, and it can mess with your head, and which messes with your work. That I understand that can happen, but that's where communication comes in.
Correct.
And not ghosting people, and like you said, owning up to what you've let kind of make you mess up. And but that shit right there, once someone screws someone, that is who they are. They don't change that. So that's why I keep trying to tell people, stop running back to these people that have done that in the past, because they're not going to change. There's no repercussions.
No.
I mean, it's just like George Vermack or whatever, Vandershit, whatever his name is. The Heat Seekers, he came back as that guy for Heat Seekers. Those people let him back in. After 2 years ago, he screwed people out of over $50,000 of him trying to, or him scamming people out of money for signatures and all this stuff. All they were doing was paying for him to go to cons. That's all that came down to. But he finally vanished because he owed so many people. And then there's a handful of people when Heat Seekers reappeared, like the first part of last year, and he come back as this person called Geo. People knew who he was, and they let him back in because, well, we thought maybe he had changed. You don't change. A thief never changes, especially when there's no repercussions, because it's not like he went to jail, or anything like that. So, like I said, I get what you're talking about with the making minor mistakes, like you just misjudged yourself and maybe you got overextended and things like that. But people gotta own it up a little bit. You gotta stop going back to people that do that.
You do. I mean, that's the thing. It's like if you make a mistake, you need to be man or woman enough to go over and say, "Hey, I've screwed up, and I'm taking responsibility. What can I do to fix this?" Because I can tell you 100%, you could fix any relationship if you open your mouth and say you're sorry.
That's right.
And I've done that millions. Like just a background, I had a business that failed, and so I had to go back to all my customers and say, "I failed. I failed you as a supplier, and so now I have to pay you all back." And and that takes time. Most people understand that. Some people get pissed off. Some things happen, but you've got to go back. You've got to be the responsible person and say, "I'm sorry," and fix it. Like in the artist world, like you were saying, like if you get overwhelmed, you have friends in the community that'll support you and help you. I've seen that happen many a times. Like, hey, I'm running to do this. I can't do all this artwork. I can't do all the pencils. Can you do the inks for me? Can you do the colors for me? I don't have it. Most of the time, as long as you open your mouth and ask for help, somebody will help you. It's when you just go into your bubble, you go away from everybody, and then you start trying to do this kind of stuff. That's when you're going to get in trouble.
That's definitely true. I mean, there's a lot of people that are willing to help, no matter what it is. For the most part, there are a lot, and you do got to be willing to say, I need some help with this or that. And now, sadly, I'm too OCD and too controlling to bring people in to help me do shit, even though it would take a lot off my plate. Because I do handle every aspect of what I'm doing, and it can get very overwhelming. But when it comes to, but I worked in the casino world for a long time, so I know what it's like to work with customer service, dealing with from really great customers to really bad customers. And then I also worked in the insurance world, dealing with different types of personalities and that, which all that does help. And I think the workload that comes with that has helped me also, especially in the insurance world, because we handled a lot of things in that world that, solo. So I got real used to that, doing paperwork and follow-ups and all that stuff with clients and handling funeral arrangements and stuff like that, those real uncomfortable conversations and things like that. So that definitely did help, like with doing this. And then also working for my own self, that helped the mentality of, if I didn't work, I didn't make money in the insurance world. So that played into this world really well too. So, and I do have an addictive personality. So that's one of the reasons I don't play video games or watch sports or any of that kind of stuff, or go to bars or any of that, because of that. So that plays into what I do now too. It allows me to put way more work time into what I'm doing. And this, like my insurance job, surprisingly, it's not one of those things where it feels like work. Not in the sense of, oh, I'm looking at my clock. Is it 3:30 yet, or is it 4:00 yet? To the downfall of that is, before you know it, you just work from the minute you woke up till the minute you're about to go to bed, because you just don't think about time that way anymore when you do this, and you're having a great time with it, even though it is, a bit of a roller coaster. But the Thor's giving you some props there, and that's what's important. Like Thor's talking about right there, like it is a rare thing. It's stupidly rare. In a world where your reputation should matter the most, you see the most people doing, or you see the most jacked up things happening with some people. whether it be certain artists or certain creators, or whether it's flippers, certain flippers and sellers. And it's amazing how a lot of people have these narrow glasses on, these short distance glasses on, to where they can't understand that if you view this world with comics, no matter what aspect you're in it in, if you view it as a long game, it's a very, very profitable career path. But if you're just sitting here viewing the 20 feet in front of you, and all you're thinking about is the money you're going to get this month, it's one of those things you can get yourself into trouble real damn quick, from making too much money too fast, and then you trying to flaunt it like you're a real G. And next thing you know, you owe people a lot of money and books and shit you haven't paid for.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a good point, because, for example, like in the indie world, Kickstarters is a big thing now. Like literally everybody is Kickstarter. You'll have some things go to the LCS depending on the companies that you work with. Merc Magazine being an example, Legends Publishing, Opus, Opus doing Death Dealer and Halloween and all them today. But, working with those kind of companies will put your book into, more hands. Yeah. But at the same time, that's one cover. That's one thing that might not, and that's not even a guarantee that you're going to have not going to say promotion, but a job per se, for a long time with that company. It could be one cover and done for a while, so whatever money you make off of that one, you need to invest that into yourself, your time, what else you can do down the road, and I've had to learn that myself too. It's like when you go through these kind of things in the collecting world, because as you can see, I mean, I collect a lot behind me, you've got to look at what you really need versus want, and then if you have it today, doesn't mean you're going to have it tomorrow,
That's right. Yeah. And that's why they got to look at the long picture. And that's why you have to put customer service first. That's why you have to give back, in my opinion. You have to give back to the people who make things possible. And that, for me, that's fans, whether you're selling comics, whether you're creating art, whether you're drawing, inking, lettering, whatever, again, whatever aspect you're in this culture, this world, you have to realize, even though it's a two-way street, without us, there's no comics. Without fans, there's no comics. Even regardless of it being a two-way street there and needing each other, the fans are still, at the end of the day, what makes all of this 100% possible across the board. And people giving shitty customer service, or artists and creators treating fans like second-class citizens, and don't you know who I am? No, you're some asshole drawing people in their underwear outside the building. Nobody knows who the hell you are. Hell, most of the people in the building probably don't even know who the hell you are.
Bingo. I mean, you think about like Jim Lee and these guys. Like I remember meeting Jim Lee in the 90s. He wasn't that big. Like he had X-Men 1. Okay, it was a big book that came out. Yeah. But after that, what happened? Not a whole lot. Like it took
you get that minute hype, and don't get me wrong, like I respect the guys that's been in the business 15, 20, 30 years. They've created this massive universe that we're all a part of to a degree. And, and I give, all the core members of Image Comics massive respect off of what they did. Walking away from the biggest books in the game to start this own company because they wanted fair treatment. And, and that's all great. But like I said, at the end of the day, like my T-shirt says in there, check your attitude. You're drawing comics. You're not storming beaches. And and I'm a big believer in that. Like it doesn't matter to me. And part of that's probably me working in the casino world, because I've met everyone from rock stars to politicians to actors to everything in between. And so you lose all that luster that you might have had not doing that. But I still don't get it. I don't get the pedestal shit. I don't get I just don't get the attitudes. I don't get the holier than thou, I'm better than that artist, or I'm better than this fan and stuff like that. It's a weird thing to me. And sadly, there's a lot of, from artists talking shit on other artists, being petty, being ridiculous. Like there's artists out there like that think because you do cover art, you're beneath them. Like if you've never done panel work, you're not a real artist. Bitch, please. It's drawing. You ain't, again, you're not doing nothing special. You're drawing. That's what you're doing. So you're not better than someone else just because they're doing a different way of drawing. You're not better than a fan because you're sitting on this side of the table. So there's definitely some folks that need to eat some humble pie and get a reality check. Because like I said, and that's the in my opinion, that's the creators and the artists you guys as fans should follow. You should follow the ones who are interacting with the fans, who are being kind and sweet, who are giving you quality time at their booth and stuff like that without making you feel like you're being pushed away. That do giveaways and things like that, because I think that's a great way to give back to the fans. So I mean, there's definitely a way you're supposed to look at it as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to fans and other artists and stuff, because we're not better than nobody else, no matter how long you've been in the business.
And that's a key thing, is that you did not forget where you came from. There's a lot of people that have, because they made so much money so much fast, and over time it went to their heads. But I will tell you one thing that I really, and maybe it's a generation thing too, because for example, I went and saw Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil and sat down. I sat down with him for an hour, like maybe an hour and 15 minutes, just talking comic books with him. He didn't care who I was.
Yeah.
He didn't, he made the time for every fan that he could to sit there and be with. In
Yeah.
his gym, the Jim Starankos, the Jim Starlings, that generation of people. And I felt it feels kind of sad for them now, because like you'll see them at the conventions and nobody goes talk to them anymore, and everybody wants to talk, of course, to Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, the big ones now, Delato, Clayton Crane.
Yep.
And all,
they want the flavor of the month.
Exactly. Who's got the hottest variant cover that lasts for like 2 days, and then it goes up to $800, and then next month it's a $10 book again.
Yep. Yep.
And to me, I mean, that's why I don't collect modern books. I collect independent books for that reason, because I'm buying the covers I want because I want those covers. I'm not buying just to be buying because I have to have every variant that came out, or it's going to be worth X amount of dollars because it just came out. I'd rather spend my time like on your book, like Psycho Sal, or like Orphan Bloodline, that's getting ready to come out. It's like supporting those guys where it's an actual story and it's actual artwork. It's not.
Those guys remember who you are.
Yeah,
I mean, Clayton Crane's not. And again, I'm not bashing artists just because they're getting some shine. More power to them. Now, there's aspects about Clayton Crane I don't like, and I think he's a shitty person for it. And I don't care if anybody knows that, because I think how you behave behind closed doors is how you are as a person. Some people want to separate that. Oh, this thing that happened over here with Black Flag, that's not who he is as a person. Bullshit. Yeah,
yeah,
100% who he is. But still, you pay your money, you go get whoever to sign your stuff that you want to sign it. That
And the funny part is when that happened, everybody jumped in on that.
Those guys are not going to remember who you are. I don't give a shit how many books you roll up on him to sign. That dude don't know you, will never know you, don't care to know you. If you want to know a prime example of someone that cares about their fans, you go look at when one of these superstars makes a post, whether it's it's their birthday or something. Well, I'll tell you what, we won't even talk about the other stuff. Let's just say it's a birthday post. They go, oh, today's my birthday, whatever. And all the fans that chime in on their happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. And his ass never goes back and says a word to that post.
Yeah.
That's how much you mean to him. Because don't give me this bullshit. Oh, well, he's too busy to answer. Bullshit. Because I guarantee you, myself and a lot of these other indie guys work twice the hours the superstars do.
Yep. And I can guarantee you, like, for example, Ryan Kincaid is a good friend of mine. You
Yeah,
know,
he's a
like
good dude.
I've met him at cons and sat there and bullshit with him for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And I could message him on Messenger. He'll get back to me within a day or so, you
Yeah,
know, or if I comment on something, hey, I like this artwork, or hey Ryan, can you I want to see this and this.
yeah,
He'll get back to you. I mean, that's the independence. That's the true. I'm gonna say the true independency. The true independency is the one that actually cares about their people
yeah.
still.
Don Matisse
Which,
the same way. Don Matisse, huge,
oh yeah, and she loves her
hugely
people.
popular. And I've met her several times, at cons, and she is an absolute sweetheart. She will sit there and chat with you. She will. I've watched her with fans, the way she interacts with fans at cons. I've messaged her on Facebook with questions about this or that, and she's answered them within a day or so. Like those are the people you want to give your
Yeah,
money and your attention to, because they do interact with you and they do give you the time of the day. Well, dude, there's some of these superstars where I've messaged to get a commission and years and that thing's still unread.
yeah,
And like I said, they can't feed me this. That's why I don't believe in 3-year commissions, or 2-year commissions, because I don't give a shit who you are. It don't take that long. The same thing about Messenger. If you got time to read my message, you got time to answer my message or my question. That's a huge pet peeve of mine. I can't stand it. But like I said, it's because a lot of people get to this level of popularity because they're getting their tables comped 99% of the time at shows. They're getting their flights paid for 99% of the time. And a lot of times they're getting sometimes guaranteed money to be there. So they have nothing to risk. They don't need to
yeah,
create this interaction with fans to have because they're doing this cover for Marvel, this cover for DC, or whatever the case, and they know their books are going to sell, or this promoter's bringing them into town for a show. So they don't really have to put on what some people may call the song and dance. But when you're an up and comer and you're doing the indie circuit and you're doing Comic Cons and stuff like that, and you actually do care about your fans, you're going to take the time to talk to them. You're going to take the time to make them feel welcome. You're going to take the time to, if they say happy birthday to you on your damn Facebook page, you're going to take a minute to say thank you. Now, you may not can thank every single person, but you
yeah.
can a reply on that post saying, hey
Thank
guys, thank
you
you
all.
so much for the birthday. I see that all the time where I'll look, ain't said a damn word. They'll post a cover and people are, oh, it's awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. There's never a comment on there that says, thank you guys for all the kind words. I'm glad you love the cover. And then he's gone. Like there's not even that. They don't go back and say shit. And I'm not saying they're not busy. I'm just saying that I guarantee you the majority of the indie people are working twice as hard as they are in most cases. But
Well,
you can make time to reply.
it a good example today. I don't know if you know Lauren Wright. Lauren Wright's birthday's today, and on her page, she said, "Thank you each and every one of you for the happy birthday." I can't respond to everybody, and and I'm sorry I can't, because she's got a lot of people, and I understand that, but just taking that 1 minute to go in there and say thank you means the world to people, because you know what, that acknowledges what you've done. Because
Yeah.
we took the time to say happy birthday because we want you to have a good day,
Yeah.
um, and that goes a long way. That was a cool thing I saw during Fan Expo here last year in Dallas. So Artist Elite was here, and that's Ryan, Freddie Williams, Tyler Kirkham, Shaw, Alan Qua, and those, and some of the most down to earth people I've ever met. And we're talking Freddie Williams, who did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're talking Tyler Kirkham, who's done everything.
Yeah, I've met Tyler. Super nice guy.
And it's like they've not forgot where they come from. They're still doing the same thing they wanted to do. So when they built Artist Elite and I started reading through some of their things, I'm like, you can tell these are their stories. It's not being pushed by a DC, by a Marvel thing. They're getting to do what they want to do. So like what you're doing with Psycho Sal, you're getting to tell the story that you want to do.
Right.
And I think that's why I enjoy the books that what's coming out now. Like I haven't read a modern book probably in 5 years
Yeah.
for that reason, because there's nothing that appeals to me worse than I got to read 80,000 books just to get to one story.
Yeah. and I really do wish more people would give indie a try. Indie's huge. I mean, if you really sat down and you looked at probably the numbers of titles, there's probably as many indie titles as there are DC titles. If not Marvel. I mean, indie is huge. It's a massive platform. Now, are there situations where things can be a little risky with Kickstarters? Are there some people out there that haven't done the Kickstarters they're supposed to? Yeah, there are. But when you find someone, who's putting in the work and who is, got a couple of issues out with successful Kickstarters, don't be afraid to give them a shot. Now I can't blame you too much for, giving a shot to somebody that's brand spanking new, you don't know nothing about. Like, I get that. But even at the end of the day, most of these Kickstarters are affordable. So, don't necessarily be scared to try that, either. But, yeah, there's still a lot of good stuff out there, especially, like I said, when you see that they've got, 2, 3, Kickstarters under their belt, and they've all been successful and they've all been fully, funded and delivered in a timely manner, and that does make it a bit difficult because, on average, most Kickstarters, when I say most, I mean like probably 95, 97% of the Kickstarters out there take 6 months to a year to fulfill. Even though the Kickstarter only runs for 30 days, they still can take 6 months to almost a year before you have your books in your hand. And that's not unusual, because a lot of people, they need the money from the Kickstarter in order to fund the Kickstarter, to create the book, to pay the artist to finish the book, write the book, et cetera, and then to print. Now we try to do things a little different with Charter Comics, and then especially with Psycho Sal. We try to have our book 98% complete, if not 100, before the Kickstarter ever starts. And that's just because I don't have the time to babysit some long drawn out thing. So, I get everybody paid, everybody handled prior to the Kickstarter going live. And then the minute it goes live, I don't have to worry about none of that. Even that little 1 or 2% that may not be finished all it is lettering. And I'm not saying lettering is not hard. It's just, it's like a few pages to be lettered. And then even then it's done. So, but that's just because I'm paranoid. I don't like being late. I can't stand it. That's another huge pet peeve of mine. Cannot stand the idea of missing deadlines. Now, even when you do it the way we do it, where it's all prepaid and it's all done and you don't need the money from the Kickstarter, that's just a recoup. There's still shit that can go wrong. I mean, Psycho Sound #2, book was 100% done. The Kickstarter ended. We sent it to print. We still have to wait our turn, and sadly, there's some people out there that need to grasp that we still have to wait our turn in the queue to have our books printed. We're not the only ones being printed, at that print shop. There's other books coming through there. So we have to wait our turn. Could be 2 weeks, could be 3 weeks. And then if something were to go wrong with one of the printers, like what happened this past December, it delayed us by 2 weeks because the printer went down, and those big dog printers, you don't go in there and just fix it. You have to call a tech. He has to come out. He has to see what's wrong with the printer. If there's a part that has to be ordered, which most of the time that's the case, he has to order the part, wait for it to come in. Then he has to come back out on the next time he can fix it. Then they got to recalibrate everything, test print, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not anything that, even when things are pre-done, you can still have some delays. So you do have to be patient, whether you're a retailer doing a retailer cover for a Kickstarter or whether you're a fan. You have to be patient. And but like I said, there is a line in the sand for that. I'm not waiting 2 years for a Kickstarter. I think that's ridiculous. I think that's rude. And I think it screams, I'm stealing your money, whether people want to admit to that or not. I don't think there should ever be a reason for it, especially if your Kickstarter fully funded, and you raise $5,000, $10,000 on your damn Kickstarter. There's no way your book shouldn't be finished.
Yeah, I mean that at that point you should be handing out refunds if you can't, support it. And I get it. Like when COVID happened, that caused a lot of slowdowns because we didn't have paper for one thing, so printers weren't really printing a whole lot. So it took a while to get through some of that.
Yeah.
But as long as you communicate with me as the person that supported you, I don't care how long it takes because
Yeah.
you know why? I know it's coming because you've already given me that hope and that understanding that hey, it's going to come. It
Yeah.
takes time. I mean, even Dustin had that issue, with his because the printer was not up to snuff that he wanted to use. It didn't turn out right, so he had to stop and then change it. And so now we're getting BGD out, and that was supposed to have been out months ago. But you know what? I don't care because I know the brand and I know that he's just looking out for us, giving us the best quality. Just
Yep.
like you did with Psycho Sal, just like um, Richard's going to do with Orphan Bloodline. Like I know, like with Charter, with Merc, with Ethereal and Coffin, like I don't have to worry about things, or even with Counterpoint with Marat. Marat does some amazing stuff. Like I love the stuff Marat does,
Yep.
um, but even he ran into the issue last year working with Dynamite, doing the Vampirella and everything with Pray for the Center.
Yeah.
It's not his fault. He tried the best he could do, but now he's learned, to go through and like what to do. And so
Yeah.
everybody understands better now. And that is the thing too. People have to understand we are human beings. Things do happen out of our control. But as long as you tell me what's up, I don't care. I'll wait with you forever, you
Yep.
know. Um,
Fix your screen. You still got it just on me.
oh,
Put yourself back in there.
it's y'all not. They talk to me all the time. But
But yeah,
actually,
I agree with you. Like, there's always going to be things that come up. That's why the communication is so important. And I, I try my best to share as much as I can and keep people filled in. I probably overdo it because usually as soon as I know something, I try to tell people, hey, this is what I found out. And even that can still bite you in the ass. I mean, I dealt with someone not too long ago that was still a pain in the ass, and I was letting them know every time I got a new piece of information. So it's weird how sometimes it can be, but you're right. I mean, that's what it's about letting people know what's going on. And if you're having delays with printers, people understand. If you're having shipping delays, which that's a whole nother beast in itself right
yeah.
there. You always have that chance where things can be shipped to the wrong address. I mean, or lost in the mail, and then you got to start all over.
Oh
So,
yeah.
you know,
Well, and it's like we have that one Texas Chainsaw cover, and ironically that I was talking to Gabe, from Gabe's Comics. Yeah, and Gabe was telling me what had actually happened with the printer and everything not being done right and like sending him the wrong thing. I'm like, that happens.
yep.
That's nobody's fault. It just happens,
Yeah,
but
all it is somebody could have been easily looking at the numbers and just misread one of the numbers, and it happens, and it's not a big deal. It's fixable. It can delay things. So yeah, and I just heard from Gabriel earlier today. He's got those. All he was waiting on was the foils.
foils,
And
yeah.
so he got those in today. So he's packaging those up and sending them out to fans. I'm sure they'll go in the mail probably tomorrow. And he's packaging up the books he needs to send to me that needs to be signed and remarked or whatever. And of course,
Yeah.
as soon as I get those in hand, I'll knock them out and they'll be in the mail the next day. So I mean, there's always things that are going to, and that's one of the reasons why I don't believe in bullshitting and taking your time to do stuff, because you're going to have stuff like that that's already going to throw stuff into chaos
Yeah.
and delay time. And so that's one of the reasons that, like with, it's like when as soon as I get books in from retailers that I need to sign and remark, that's why I don't set them to the side and be like, oh, I'll get to those a couple days from now. I need to finish what I'm doing right here. Like, no, as soon as I get them in, I open them up, take them out of the box. I immediately start signing and remarking that day. And then they're packaged up and the next morning, given time for stuff to dry. They're packaged up the next morning and they're sent right back to the retailer. So, I try to only have them in house like 2 days, unless they come in on a Friday or something like that, and I can't ship them out till Monday. But I'll make an extra trip to the damn post office if I need to. Because again, you never know when the next thing could delay something, and you already have to deal with a delay that's out of your control. So why the hell would you delay anything that's in your own control just because of yourself?
Yeah, I mean, you can't be lazy. That's the number one thing.
Yeah,
Don't be
there's no space
lazy.
in this for lazy. That's for damn sure.
If you're sick or something like that, we all understand that. Like
I
there's
don't.
human things that happen.
I don't.
I know you never get
I
sick.
don't.
You're always busy.
I don't. I've worked, and I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. It's just I've worked sick. I've worked with 102, 103 fever. I got shit to do.
And that's the thing is your commitment to us as fans is why a lot of us gravitated towards you. It's because we know you care about us. And that you actually give us 5 minutes, 10 minutes of we want to talk about something even other than comics, like bullshit about other things, just because we can do that.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, that's my own stupid fault. Like nobody makes me work the stupid hours I work. It's just I'm too paranoid. Like I'm straight up too damn paranoid that I'm going to be late on something. So I've worked sick. I mean, there's been moments where 1 minute I'm drawing, the next minute I'm hugging the toilet. I mean, I've had days like that. Now don't get me wrong. Now I've had a couple days where I like about the only thing that'll put me down like a dog is if I get one of my migraines. Thank God they only happen every so often. But if I get one of those, you can hang that day up. I'm in the bedroom with everything darked out, and because just light in general just hurts. So luckily, I only get those ever so often. And knock on wood, I've only been sick a handful of times, over the last couple of years. But yeah, I try my best. If I'm sick or whatever, I may not get a lot done that day, but I still try to do some of it and get the easier stuff, the less thinking stuff, whether it's a quick head sketch on a blank or it's a sketch card, some of that kind of stuff that needs to be done, but it's just that crap you don't really have to put tons of, attention into that is kind of, you kind of do it by muscle memory instead of, trying to concentrate on it. So that helps out tremendously. But and then now there are moments where, like that stuff may not throw a monkey wrench in what I'm trying to do necessarily, but there's moments where, like yesterday, and I never know when that might happen. Yesterday I had to stop work around 3 o'clock yesterday to go pick my grandson Victor up from daycare because his grandma, who works at the daycare, my daughter's mother, she had to work late, and Shelby doesn't get off work till 5. So, I went down there and picked him up. And of course, when I bring him here, I'm not going to be working on art. So there are days when that does happen. That's about the only thing, that'll kind of put the tracks to a halt. Is definitely like my grandson or visiting with, Olivia and my granddaughter, Sadie. So there's still things that do stop me at times. It's just usually I won't let it be. I don't feel like it today, or I'm sick today, or, anything like that. I try my damnedest because I know those days are going to happen too. Or those moments where something goes wrong with one of my daughter's cars and I have to stop what I'm doing and go work on a car.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be something that comes up. So that's why I try not to take too much time away from work. And then I try not to let my personal issues or sickness or whatever stop me, because I know the outside stuff is going to stop me on enough days as is. So,
I know that feeling. I got 5 kids, and I can
yeah.
guarantee you, between those 5 kids, there's a petri dish, and I'm going to get sick at least once a year.
Yep.
And guess what? You never know what's going to happen.
Yep.
One person's going to fall, they're going to break something. You don't know.
Yep.
It's like so. You've got to learn how to be flexible and just roll with it and just go.
Yep.
Like, I mean, you're a grandpa now, so now you're not just taking care of your daughter, you're taking care of your grandchild as well. So guess what? Now you can actually play with the grandkid, have fun, and say, "Here you go, take it back."
Yeah. I've got 4 daughters, and they all have their own vehicles, and they all work full-time jobs and go to school on a couple of them. And, and so there, like I said, there's going to be those moments where, I need to, go take one of my daughters to go get tires for their car, or, which takes a couple hours, or there's going to be a day where, like I said, I got to go pick Victor up. So there's always going to be those outside elements. And don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. I don't mind doing that. If my daughters need me, I'm there. I don't have an issue with that. It's just, I can't let my personal shit, whether it's, because dude, I deal with depression just like everybody else. I deal with the loneliness of what we do like everybody else for the most part that does what we do. Because regardless of how much I love it, it's a very lonely career path. And it's an emotional roller coaster, and it's got its highs and lows with stress and keeping deadlines, working lots of hours. Then you have the paranoia of, did they like this cover? Do they like this? Because if you're someone that gives a shit, you're going to care whether the fans like what you're putting out.
Yeah.
And you're always going to have that imposter syndrome and that self-doubt that you got to fight with. So I can't let shit like that comes with my personal self stop me from doing work. Because again, if you start down that road, that's an easy snowball to get away from.
Yeah. I mean, that's the catch-22 is like, you just don't know.
I'm just going to watch TV today. Then that turns into, 1 day a week, 2 days a week, 3 days a week. Next thing you know, you're behind on everything. So it's just not worth it. So the best thing to do is just hammer through it. And again, I'm not saying I'm better than anybody by any means. I'm too opinionated. I'm set in my ways, and I have no filter between my brain and my mouth. There's a lot of negative shit about me. I have no delusions about it. But when it comes to the work part, though, I refuse to let anyone outgrind me.
Well, and it shows. I mean, just think about, like, in the last year, how many covers have you done in the last year?
In the last 12 months, probably 30. And then I did like 30 the year before, and then like I think the first year as doing covers, I'd like the first year I was doing this, or second year I was doing this, I landed a couple covers. And then the third year I was doing it, it was like 30 damn covers that year. And then this year, this past year, the past 12 months for 2022 was another like right at 30 covers, if not, a little over, something like that. It's definitely a grind, that's for sure. And I look at it as, I'm nobody. There's way more well-known people out there than me. Even though social media gives us such a massive platform because of algorithms and all the other competition that's floating around, there's tons of big names out there. There's way better artists than me that are out there. But if you want to try to get your name somewhat known in a reasonable amount of time, you gotta grind. You gotta be the biggest grinder. That's why I try to dump as many covers. That's why I do as many stupid lives as I do when I'm driving and, rambling about random crap and stuff like that. It's just that whether people like me or don't like me, I try to make sure somebody knows who I am, because that's the only way you're going to get seen. That's the only way you're going to get covers, because there's too much competition in general. And again, better artists in general that you might run into. So I refuse to let anybody outgrind me. So I'll put in the damn stupid hours. I'll sacrifice the relationships and things like that, because I don't have 30 years to put into this. I need to try to. I'm 46 years old, 47, 46. Hell, I don't even remember. I don't have that. I don't even know how much longer I have before my hands hurt too much to even do this. So, you got to try to make something for yourself now, because nobody is going to do it for you.
That's correct. And that's, you got to make it to what you want, but you got to also know what you want. You got to have a plan and a vision of where you're going to go. Yep. Even if it's like you want to open up a comic book store, and I'm going to recommend don't do that, because I've already been through one of those, and that's not the easiest thing in the world. I've owned an LCS, and yeah, you got to fight. with the big two, and then you got to fight with Diamond. I don't recommend that. What I do recommend though is if you want to go into that business, partner with somebody who's already got one that's been successful. Like Gabe does amazing stuff with his stuff. Gabe does, Chris does, with his comic shop out in Fort Worth.
But you also the big thing though is because it's got to be customer service. It's got to be customer service, and you got to do something that sets you apart from everyone else. Yep. And a lot of people, I'm not saying you didn't do that, but I'm saying a lot of people, like I've known people, that tried to open comic shops in the past or gaming shops or whatever the case may be. And I see the ones that are doing well, and I see the ones that are doing so. And, you got to be willing to be that person who steps outside that normal box a little bit, whether it's you're bringing in, guest artists, whether they're amateurs or pros or 5 years in, 10 years in, whatever the case, you're bringing these people in to do signing events. You're bringing in voice actors or things like that. Because when you do things like that, people see it and they understand when you're bringing someone in like that, that has nothing to do with profit on the comic shop. They're doing that solely for the people who patron that shop, and people will see that and notice that. So it is definitely tough. I mean, it is, it's like I said, it's the same concept with being a new artist. And even though there's a massive platform on social media, there's so much, even though it's not competition in the sense you shouldn't be trying to cut each other's throat. Whether it's slandering or petty bullshit or whatever some of these guys do, there's no room for that. There shouldn't be, because even though you're technically competing against one another, there's enough room at the table now for everyone because of social media being such a large platform. You just got to be willing to put in the hours to create that footprint for yourself. Same thing goes for a comic shop. You got to be willing to step outside the box a little bit and do some things that no one else is doing to get more attention to yourself, for sure. And even then, it's still not easy.
It's not, because like mine was in 2006, 2007 when the bubble burst on comics. So nobody was buying comics anymore at that time.
Right.
And everybody was like, no, we're going to go digital. We're going to do all that. We're not going to buy anymore. And that lasted for 2 years, 3 years, maybe. And then everybody realized, oh yeah, I do like actually having a book in my hand.
Yeah.
So, but by then the damage is done. So, you have to liquidate and get rid of everything and start over. So like if I started one today, I would be in a way better, than it would have been back then.
Sure. But also with social media being the way it is, I mean, you technically could do it from your home now. I mean, there's tons of retailers out there that do this, that have their retailer exclusives and things like that they don't necessarily have to do a comic shop. Brick and mortar. So
it's like for mine, like if I did one, like I'm doing Whatnot right now. I'm selling books through Whatnot. A lot of us do that. I mean, I was talking to Murphy earlier, on the Merc one. It's like everybody's doing the Whatnot because it's easy to get a hold of fans with.
Yeah.
And it's instant buying, instant, I'm not gonna say instant gratification, but it's pretty much is, because you buy it.
Yeah, they take money right then. So
they take your money, you're done.
You don't have to worry about chasing people down with invoices and crap like that. That's for sure. Yeah. I mean, I've been, I've been invited to Whatnot for months and months now. I don't even remember how long, but I mean, I got invited by the guys that run Whatnot. And and signed up. They signed me up for it and all that stuff. And I still haven't done a show. I just don't have the time to do it. And that's my own fault, because like I said, you can make time for what you need to make time for. That I don't have time is definitely a bullshit excuse to a degree. It's just I just don't want to take time away from what I'm doing for retailers and fans, etc., to set aside, 2 hours a night to do Whatnot. I'm sure it would be incredibly beneficial for me, because the majority of stuff I would have on that show, that stuff you can't see unless you come to one of my tables.
And that's the catch too. Is like, I mean, you have to load up an inventory. You have to load up everything. You have to have all of it ready, and then you have to sell it. And then, okay, the expectation is within 2 days you ship out.
Yeah,
That's the expectation, But there are things that happen. Like, say, if you find something that's messed up by accident, you need to go work that out. That
yeah,
goes back to number one, communication with your
yeah.
customers. Making sure that's good.
Yeah,
But
I do think they should change the shipping on that a little. And don't get me wrong, I'm not no. If you haven't shipped me if you have a book in your damn hand and I buy it from you on your show, if I don't have a tracking number in 7 days, you're giving me my money back.
exactly,
Now, so I do think the 2 day is a little too damn close. Now, not for the argument excuse some people want, I've seen use on there. Well, we might be at a con and well, you know what? Don't have a damn sale on a Friday.
yeah,
Don't have a
exactly.
sale on a damn Thursday. That's your own fault.
Well, it's
But
like I
I
do
think they should
sales on
keep it to like
Sundays or
4 days.
Tuesdays.
Yeah,
Give
I
yourself
think it should be I think it should be changed to you got 3 or 4, 3 business days to ship it. That's what I think they ought to do. Because I personally, if you're selling physical shit, it shouldn't take you more than 3 or 4 days to go to the post office. Because actually, they'll come to your house and pick the shit up.
Yeah.
So this whole bullshit excuse, I hadn't had time to go to the post office. I don't buy the shit. So, but like I said, I give people seven days to give me my tracking number. But
and to me, that's more reasonable. But they also need to change the actual shipping cost because the cost goes directly to the buyer. It's not even from the seller, but it's all about how you set it up. So if I take I've got your Psycho Salad number 1. Okay.
right.
So this weighs about 4 ounces, maybe 5 ounces for the book. Okay. Once I put it in a Gemini shipper, I pack it up. It's over a pound, at that point. Whatnot only pays for up to first class for one book.
Yeah.
So you've got to change it to do that and say, okay, no, I'm going to charge you a pound for this one book. And so that 1 pound could be $8. Well, guess what? $8 priority is pretty standard.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, it costs more than that. When I ship priority most of the time. So when I either do first class or priority, just depending on how much of a price difference it is. But usually when I ship one exclusive with in a Gemini mailer, it usually costs me about $8 and some change just to ship it.
Yeah.
That's not counting the cost of the Gemini, which 50 cents or whatever, know. But still though, you so now that's why pretty much I've made it standard. Pretty much all my shipping is $10.
Yeah.
For whether it's 1 book or 4 books, it's $10. If it's one slab, it's $17.
Yeah.
They want to let people change it to something like that. Hey, shipping is $9. Whether it's 1 to 4 books, it's $9, but it will come first class or priority, depending on the weight.
Because for me, I shipped out some stuff this week, and it was, they paid up to $7, but guess what? It's priority mail, and it went up to $12 because of the location. So guess what?
Yeah, California will do that to you too.
Yeah, automatically. So now I'm out $5 more. So I just literally lost $5 on that transaction because just for shipping.
Yeah.
So there is pluses, minuses with it. But what I've noticed, for you, for example, you do the waffles and you do those things and you sell through. To me, that platform is better for you because it reaches people better than Whatnot does.
Well, it also keeps it strictly some people have asked me why I don't post those to public groups. Well, because when I'm doing raffles, I'm doing really cool shit, in my opinion. I'm doing 9.9, artist proof medals, that are CGC slab 9.9s that are signed, or I'm doing 9.8s that are CGC yellow label slab, artist proof medals that are limited to 5 in existence, where they have my initials and the number of the book on it. Or I'm doing, original art. I've done raffles for cover art before. So I'm doing shit what I consider really cool stuff. And then on top of that, it's stupidly good odds. So, not only are you getting extremely affordable entry fees for the raffles, 9 times out of 10, the raffle isn't even enough to actually cover what the item is value-wise. because I want to keep the entry spots low to give my fans better odds. And that's why I don't post them usually to open groups. I want my fans to win the shit.
Yeah.
So like I did that one not too long ago, that mega raffle. It had like 30.
Yeah.
That was a mega raffle, which I don't do a lot of those. Most of my raffles will be for like a $400, $500 item, and it'll have like, 15 spots or 20 spots. I did that mega raffle that had $800 to first place. It had another, I think, like
the sketch on the second part.
Yeah, something like that. And then third place was like an $80 spot. So, but like at the end of the day, it was around $1,000 prize pool, and it only had 30. I think it was 30 or 35 spots in it, and like, what was it? $25 or $30 spots, something like that, I guess.
Yeah, it was. Well, I remember we did 2 minis
I did 2 minis for it also. Yep. And I did my minis different than anyone else does. Like most people do minis, they go, okay, here's 10 spots and one winner wins a spot. I did a mini with 10 spots at $10 a spot, and 4 people from that mini went into the mega raffle. So what's up, guys? So I definitely, and that's why I keep it private. Like I do it just on my Facebook page and just the art group, because I want you guys to win the shit. I don't want, and I'm not saying somebody that wins this isn't going to go flip it.
It's theirs. They can do whatever they want to do.
Because like that one dude won. He had what was it, like 2 spots?
Yeah.
In the raffle, and he won the $800 medals. And now there's always that possibility he could flip it. I mean, how many people do you know that win, $800 worth of merch, and they won it for, $60 or whatever it was? Not many people's going to sit on that.
No,
they're going to flip it to fund something else. And I'm okay with that. I don't care what they do with it. Once they get it from me, it's theirs. They can do whatever the hell they want to with it. But, it's better odds, because I see these guys in these other groups doing raffles, and they'll go, hey, here you go, guys. Here's a $500 book, and we're going to do 500 spots at $1 a spot. And I'm like, hell no.
You'd never. Yeah, they do the micros, the macro, like 8. Like I'm like, no. I will say this one. I did one of those once. I think it was on Integrity Comics. Integrity has some good ones some days. I did that and won a Hulk 181 signed by Lynn Wine and them. And I was like, and I did that off of a $25 micro spot. So the odds are there that you could win it, but it's not in your favor.
Yeah,
it's huge. Really.
Yeah. I mean, think about the minis that I did, like for those mega raffles. I did like 2 or 3 minis, 10 spots and 4 winners.
Yeah.
Out of 10 spots. That's insane odds, man. That is so in your favor. And then like I said, even on the mega itself, $1,000 prize pool. And it was like 30 or 35 spots. I mean, even that was stupidly good odds. So, those are fun. Like I said, those are the ones you want to be in my opinion. I'm not doing a damn 500 spot raffle. It ain't happening. No. I'm not doing it. That's just, even if I walked in and bought 100 spots, I'm still not doing it. No, that is not in your favor. But yeah, it's so I try to do things like that. I try to give you guys things like that. We do giveaways every so often. I mean, hell, like I even got some flack a couple years ago on because I even go stupidly overboard, and that's probably to my own detriment, but I go stupidly overboard with mystery boxes.
Oh yeah.
Nobody is going to outdo me in mystery boxes. That shit ain't happening. Whether it's an ego thing or whatever it is, that's just not happening. But I would do $200 mystery boxes. And if you sat down and you literally purchased those items from my booth at Comic-Cons, what everyone pays for, like the $200 mystery box had like $300 worth of stuff in it. I did a $100 mystery box that had like I think it was like $180 worth of stuff in it. I mean, not overhyped shit. I mean, that's what it would physically cost you at a Comic-Con to purchase that stuff from me. And like I said, whether it's an ego thing or whatever it is, I don't know. I only do them twice a year. And I look at them as a way of giving back to fans so they can have some fun with them. Because, I mean, I've bought mystery boxes in the past and felt like I was raped, you know.
Yeah, you get 2 books in there, and it's one's a foil, and maybe one is a retail exclusive.
I bought $100 art mystery box one time from an artist, and if I had walked up to his booth at a con, I could have bought everything in that box for $60. That to me, now I don't mind if it's even money. I can live with that. But I was like, come on, dude, are you shitting me? And I paid shipping on top of it too. I was like, wow, dude. I was like, I didn't say it to them, but I'm saying in my head, holy shit. And then of course I bought, I've done a couple of $100, mystery boxes from online comic sellers. Mm-hmm. And I get the box in and it might have, $80 worth of shit in it if I was lucky.
Yeah.
Now Todd, was it Todd? No. Jamie, was it Jamie Tyndall?
Jamie Tyndall's.
Was it Jamie or is it Kirkham? One of those artists, I can't remember which one it was. I bought one of their mystery boxes, but I got the $300 box that had the sketch on the box.
Yeah.
Damn, who was that? I think it was Jamie Tyndall. Yeah, I think it was Jamie Tyndall. But I bought his. I got him to do a Bad Who Last sketch on the box. So he did a head sketch on the box of the Bad Who Last. Like I said, it was a $300 box. It had a bunch of exclusives in it and medals, whatnot. That box, not counting the sketch, which a head sketch for him is probably
$100, $150,
$200 head sketch. It had $400 worth of books in it. Now that's a mystery box. So that's where I took my cue from when I started doing mystery boxes. That's how you do it, in my opinion. You give people where they can go, holy shit. And so far, knock on wood, that's been the reaction I've gotten every time I've done a mystery box, and they've sold out every single time.
I know. I missed out on the last one.
Yeah, you don't want to miss mine.
Yeah, I mean, Cameron was telling me about it. I'm like, I
got to know. Well, see, that's one of the great things about certain artists, Fig, is we stand behind what we do, and we don't play. So you can go, you can ask anybody on my page, what's Williams mystery box like? They'll tell you, holy shit. I mean, when I did a $300 mystery box one time, and it had $450 worth of stuff in it, including original art.
And I bought one. Nia Rufino she does them too, and I picked up hers, and this was like $150 for her box, but it comes with a 5x7 original art sketch with it, the books, the cards, everything. Like the value you're going to get, and even I saw this too, like Tom Hutchinson on BDI. He does it on his Kickstarters. It's $75 boxes now.
Yeah.
And he actually puts a exclusive cover inside the box for that Kickstarter. That's the only way you get that one. So, like, to me, that was kind of cool. I got his last one, and when you get all the books out and you start like looking at it, like, holy crap! It was like almost $200 worth of books for $75.
Yep.
And so when you do them like that, or even like Coffin, they've got theirs too. When you make it more value for it, I'm gonna keep buying them because I know I'm gonna get the likelihood of something good coming out of it.
Yeah.
But if it's just I'm gonna get one book or 2 books out of it that might be good, and that's $100, and it's a true mystery, like you don't know what you're gonna get. I have a hard time with that one. At least with you guys, I know of what could be in the box.
Yeah.
So like Fig Life, like these guys, I would trust them to do that. But there are other ones, not so much.
Yeah. When I did that last mystery box, the one that was, what was it? I think it was $200 mystery boxes that had it was like $300 plus worth of stuff in it. And I only did 10 of them because I only do usually 10 at a time when I do them, and I do them twice a year. Out of the one randomly of the boxes, I stuck one of those Do You Poo artist proof books in one of the boxes. I still don't know who the hell got it because nobody's bothered to post it. But that's a weird one. Like the only thing I ask people to do is to please do a live unboxing. And I do them twice a year. I've been doing them for 3 years straight, and I could probably count the videos on one hand. I don't know why, man. It's the only thing I ask is, guys, please, if you're not comfortable being live, at least post it when you got it so people can see what's in
take
it.
A picture that you got. Isn't that way you know who got it?
Yeah, that too. Because I'd love to know who got the Do You Poo, because that book is one of 10 in existence. It never gets reprinted. So I mean, but some people they either maybe they don't think about it, maybe I don't know. But the same thing goes with commissions. Like you see that a lot. I've had people buy $1,000 original art to like one of my Department of Truth covers or something like that, and never post it when they got it in. Like they don't share it. Same thing. I've had people spend $400, $300, $500 on commissions and never post it when they get it in. It's not just me. Like I see it happen with a lot of artists. Like you just don't see it. I don't know why.
Yeah, and actually, this is a good point too. So he did a lot of giveaways, and he stopped because the people, once they won, they left. Now that's
true.
That does happen. I mean,
I'll give you a story. I'll give you a story on that one. About 3 years ago, I did it for 2 years in a row. Every Christmas. So when was the last time I did it? Let's see. I didn't do it last year or this past December. I didn't do it the year before. So what? Either 2019 or 2020 was the last time I did it. So the entire month of December that year, from week 1 till the fourth week of the month, the entire month, I sat down at my art desk for 2 shows a week, and I drew for 4 hours plus, because I would draw until Facebook stopped your show, which was at 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then I would restart it and I go for another hour or so. During that time, that 4 hours, I'm letting people just name off characters in the chat. There's 30, 40 damn people in that chat every damn time. And I'm sitting here sketching, and they call out a character, and I'll just sketch something up, some quick headshot, and I give it away in the channel. And I would probably do 8 or 10 of those per show, twice a week. So, and I sell head sketches at that time, I was selling them for $80 a pop. So that's what I gave away. And I did that for the first 3 weeks of that December. And I'd done it the year before, but that last year I did it 3 weeks, and 30, 40, 50 people in the channel every single time. Then I started seeing them on eBay. Then so here I am giving away shit, and all you're doing is hanging out in the channel, and you couldn't even be respectful enough to just keep it. It had to go to eBay. 200, 300. I saw people sent me pictures of several of them on eBay. So then I started doing personalizing them. Okay, guys, you can win one, but it has to be personalized to you or someone else. So then about half the people started showing up.
Yeah.
Not sharing the videos, et cetera, et cetera. So we did that for a little bit. And, and then it got to where a couple of those were being on eBay. And so I was like, okay, I'm done. I was like, look, guys, from now on, this is what we're going to do. You show up, you share out the video. I'm going to auction 3, and I'm going to give away 2. And I start the bids at like $10. So there'd be 1 or 2 people that would bid, like the fans that really wanted it.
Yeah.
But then people quit. For a lot of people, quit showing up even then. So like it's true. Once you start, kind of narrowing down that giveaway shit, it's amazing how many people vanish.
It is. Well, it's funny. It's like I'm getting ready to be at episode 500 on my channel. after about 7 years. And so I think about like, okay, what am I going to give away during my, and this is a big one, for me. So I'm like, what am I going to give away? Well, and then who's actually going to play into it? Is it going to be people that I know and has been with me forever? Like Fig Life, he's been with me since the beginning. Is it going to be people that just want, oh, I see a giveaway, it's a bunch of free stuff, and I'm going to go get it? That's not who I don't want to get it. I want it to be the people that actually been here and been part of this and that want to do this, because they deserve that. Because once they left, it was like, okay. I mean, I watched the subscriber count go way down and go way up during giveaway season, and it's like,
Yeah, and sadly, you'll never change that.
No.
That's always going to be when you do a giveaway. Two things filled my videos when I would go live: giving shit away, and sadly, you can't control that one because you're always going to have the core people that show up that support you because you're you. And I'm grateful for them, and that's the ones you want to win. But sometimes you can't police it that way. Or at least I haven't been able to figure out a way to necessarily police it that way. I can narrow it some, but so you got that. So people would show up for that, or they would show up when I would do the full-blown rant videos, which is how I got the Angry Artist name. Now, they'd show up for the drama. Like if I was dropping bombs on shit, people there for the drama. Then they don't show up when you're just talking about important shit, cover drops or things like that. You just get the core people that show up. And that's why you want to take care of those core people, which is why I do the giveaways in the art group. And that's why I do the giveaways where, hey, guys, chime in on this giveaway. Let me know you're here and your name's going to go in there. And even that caught me some flack. Like, hey, man, why didn't you tag everybody? And I was like, well, first off, it's not my job to tag everybody. This is the art group. It's kind of up to you to check the art group and see what's going on. Because when I do giveaways, I post about it and I talk about it on live videos. I mean, I don't know what else to do for you other than going through my messenger and sending everybody a specific message saying, hey, go look at this. You should be looking at it because you're supposedly here as a fan and not just here for free shit.
Exactly. Well, it's like I think you had one. Was it yesterday or the day before? Or somebody had one, and it was like a free giveaway, or like talking about giving away something, and I missed it. I missed it completely.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah, and it's like it's okay if you don't make it to everyone.
Yeah.
There's some people that they're so wrapped up. Like I got to be part of everything. It's like, if you don't make it, it's okay. I was like, there'll be another one down the road.
The crazy thing is when I do giveaways, when it's whether it's raffles, but especially giveaways, like it's not one of those things where I just go spur of the moment, make the post, and hey guys, you got 5 minutes to chime in. Like I'll post about the giveaway and I'll let it run for like 2 or 3 or 4 days, if not longer sometimes, before I ever cut it off and activate it. Like, so if you're going to be involved in these things, you should be checking the pages ever so often. That way you can take part in those things. Because sadly, taggings don't work half the time on Facebook.
No.
And the tag everyone in the art group doesn't work half the damn time. Like hell, like I haven't been able to use it. Like I think this morning was the first time in a day or and a half that I could you can only use it once a day. Yeah. Once a day on one post per admin. So, and I mean, there's only me and Cameron that's adminning the group. So, even in that situation, that doesn't work half the times. I don't know how many times I've had to ask Cameron to do an everyone tag because it wouldn't let me do it. And I'm the damn, guy that created the group. So, we can't hit everybody all the time because of the way Facebook is. So it has to be some of it on you as a fan to pay attention to what might be going on. That's why I tell people, try to check the group once a week because of pre-sales and, metal print designs, mystery boxes that go up. You have to take a little responsibility on yourself as a fan to kind of know what's going on. And you still going to miss stuff.
Oh
You know,
yeah. I mean,
getting
I've
mad at me because you missed it is ridiculous.
well, like it was the other cover, the other Texas Chainsaw. You tagged me in it because you know I like Texas
Yeah.
Chainsaw, and I was like, I didn't even see that one, but it was in this one over here. You know, the other one didn't work. You
Yep.
know, but that's why it's on us. And you're right. We need to go look. All it takes is 2 seconds to go to that page and put the little drop down says newest post first.
Yep.
And start scrolling and start looking through it. Take yourself 5-10 minutes, go through it, make sure you get it. And that's how I jumped on with Gabe and got the one book, and I jumped on with the other lady for the other book, 2 books. You know, I was like, and with the Top Cow, and I was like, this is awesome. I can just look it, see it, and what I actually do appreciate is that you put it on the art page, but you also put it on your page too,
Yeah. Yeah.
because sometimes I'll get the feed from you versus the art page a lot of
Yep.
the time.
Yeah. I
And
try
that's
to
just
post in
Facebook.
3 spots, and people still miss. I mean,
Oh
that's
yeah,
how janky Facebook is. I post on my when every time, whether it's a cover drop, Comic Con appearance or in store signing event, or whatever it is, like big news, whatever it is, I post it to my personal Facebook page. I post it to the art page, and now that I've unlocked the other group I had archived, now I post it to 2 art groups. So
yeah.
4 damn locations, and people are still going to miss stuff.
Well,
You
I missed you coming out here to Fort Worth. You know, a couple of months ago. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't
I was in where's that? Was that pastime?
past time. Yeah, I missed that. I'm like, crap, dude. I would have came and saw you. You know, but I didn't. I mean, by the time I saw it, it was too late. You know,
Yep.
that's
And we
it. Just
promoted that for 2 weeks.
exactly.
I mean, I
Yeah,
talked about it on live things, and we shared the post information. But like I said, because the algorithm already buries shit that does not pertain to what Facebook wants to sell you. So we already know that they've been caught. They've been outed doing that. Pushing advertisement stuff to the top of your news feeds and things like that. Then if you got 1,000, 2,000 people on your friends list, you got to compete with that shit. Which is why it's so damn important to be in that art group,
yeah.
the 2 art groups, because there's no advertisement shit there. There's no Facebook meddling there to a degree. So you just got to show up and look. But like I said, you got to remember to show them. Look, if you're over there getting annoyed because of the everyone tag ever so often, and you're turning off notifications, that's your
Can't
own fault.
I can't say nothing about it.
You know, I mean, it's not the end of the world. If you're like, I look at it this way in all reality, because that's the biggest thing I've heard some people bitch about. Like, I've had one person that was in the art group bitch because of the everyone tag. And I'm like, dude, it only can be used once a day. And I only use it for cover drops, Kickstarter announcements, shit that is important. And I was like,
Right.
that's what, once a month, once every 2 months? Yeah. But I mean, I'm getting all these ones. Well, the rest of them's not my business. I don't give a shit what you're getting in the rest of them. But as far as in being in my art group that you chose to join, that everyone tag is not ruffling your feathers. And to be honest with you, if your ass is on Facebook enough that the everyone tag is bothering you, you might want to get off Facebook for a little bit,
Yeah,
because it
just for a
doesn't
little,
bother me,
or
and I'm members of tons of groups. So, I
and the
mean,
big
Facebook,
thing too.
sadly, Facebook is the best platform. I mean, Twitter's shit, Instagram's shit, unless you got a set of boobs. Facebook, don't get me wrong, Facebook's not great or anything because of the algorithm shit and everything else, but it's the best platform. It just is. I
Well,
mean,
I tell
hell,
you what I've noticed,
even if you have your own website.
and what I've noticed lately though, Instagram has been better for making money. So like, it's like for example, you know, we have Facebook ads, you know, that you can
Yeah.
use as a page owner. But Instagram does stories now. So the IG stories can make so much money off of that. So I'm like, my
Yeah.
buddy, he went from making, you know, a couple of pennies to making a couple of dollars. You
Yeah.
start adding those dollars together, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
But you've got to pick the one that's also relative to what you're doing. So like if you were trying to sell covers on Instagram, you would have a little bit harder time because you're sitting in a little bitty field. you're trying to put all this stuff into it, and you might not be able to catch everything. Whereas Facebook, you can actually go to a computer and just sit there and type it all out, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Instagram is really
Instagram
mobile
works
based.
great if you're doing stories and reels. I don't have time to shoot 30-second damn reels every time I turn around.
Yeah.
So I've got so much other shit to do, and now me personally, I'm not going near TikTok. I've read their user agreement because I'm paranoid. I've read PayPal's user agreement. I read every damn user agreement I've ever been involved with, and I've read TikTok's, and I'll be damned if I sign that user agreement. It ain't happening. So you guys are braver than me. That shit ain't happening. But YouTube's a great platform in general. But sad thing, like I said, the lifeblood of the majority of everything that we're doing is Facebook. Like, yeah. Shit, Facebook is so damn addictive to people now. He could come out the gate tomorrow and say, hey guys, guess what? It's $5 a month. And people will pay it.
Yep. Do you know why? You have to change everything if you didn't want to use it. But you know, what's funny is like we're old enough to remember the MySpace days. I do too. It was definitely
Tom
easier platform.
Tom needs to come back. We need Tom.
Yeah. I remember those days of like when Facebook was just starting, there was nothing to it. MySpace was great because you could have music on it. You had everything on it at the time.
Yep. And there must be something like, because, usually when something's hot, somebody wants to come out with something similar. They want a piece of that pie too. And it's really odd to me that there's never been anything else that I'm aware of that's like Facebook, like not even a hint of it. And it's really mind blowing because if somebody would have the balls to come out with something similar to Facebook where you could do the same things you're doing on Facebook, but they didn't have as much meddling and stuff with advertisements and stuff like that. Even if they were charging a small fee a month to be a member of it to get less ads or something, dude, there would be a mass exodus of Facebook. And so the only thing I can figure is they must have something in place to where if somehow they bottleneck it to where they can't nobody come out with something, or either they buy it the minute it's rumored. I don't know, because how do you be how do you become the only platform like that? Because Twitter's not like, nowhere near what Facebook is as far as like the way it works. Instagram, same thing, it's completely different. TikTok, same thing, completely different. It's really strange, the only thing we've ever had that was similar was MySpace. That
was it. And that shows our age. And it was nothing then. It wasn't really a big, like, it wasn't something that you had to go do all day. Like today, so many people are on it all day long. Yep. It's like, and some people made a business.
They've already done studies. And that's one of the reasons I try to stay off Facebook as much as I can, because I've even called it messing with my head a little bit sometimes, because especially as a creative person, but just a person in general, it's amazing how it'll start creeping up on you to where you're too concerned. Well, how come nobody's hitting the like button on this? How come nobody's saying anything? How come nobody's sharing out my content? Like, it'll start messing with your head. And like I said, they've already done some studies on it where they have, proven that the like button and the heart button and all these different things for these platforms have messed with people emotionally with their self-worth. Like, so, and I definitely believe that, because I there's been those moments where I'm sitting there going, damn, what am I doing wrong? Why are there not more shares, or there more likes or more comments? Like, damn, I do these giveaways and I do this and that and I do this. And then I look over here and I see this, this asshole who doesn't do anything, who doesn't share, doesn't give back, doesn't, interact. And it's just share, like. And that's why I make that joke sometimes about that. It feels like a bad relationship sometimes. It's like the less you do and the less you show that you care, the more attention you get. But the more you show people you care and the more that you do for the people, it's like they kind of, they don't want that. They want the other guy that won't give them no attention. It's like I said, we joke about that sometimes, but it really does. It does feel that way when you start, thinking about, the likes and the hearts and the whatever. So,
And that's the thing is, we come from a time period where there was no internet. The
yeah.
phone was a landline. It was it was a rotary phone.
Yep.
You went outside and played. And that was your entertainment.
Oh,
So it's like now people's entertainment is that like button, that heart
yep.
button. And it's like,
Yeah.
and don't get me wrong, it comes back to the core thing of like wanting to be loved, kind of situation.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
wanted
'Cause
you
you
want
do.
to have interactions with people. That's
Yep.
what human beings do, but it's an artificial thing.
Yeah.
It's an artificial way of, how about pick up the phone, call somebody, or
Yeah.
hell, do a Facebook Messenger video call, just to
Yeah.
talk to somebody or call them or what, just to have something. But yeah, it's funny. Like I watch it too. I see how all that goes. I'm like, okay. I
Yeah.
mean, you can't let it get to you.
That is true. That is definitely true. And like I said, I've caught myself a couple times, like I'll post some stuff and then I'll go back and be post something else and I'll see, I'm like, damn, what the hell? I mean, it's the same thing, even with Kickstarters. It's the same thing with Kickstarters. Like you got to lock that down because that back of your head paranoia or insecurity will start owning you. Because like even on my Kickstarters, I see it sometimes. I'm sitting there going, God damn, there's over 2,000 people on my friends list, even after I deleted like 1,800. I was like, there's still 2,000 people here. Why are they not, why are they not supporting the Kickstarter? And then you got to go, okay, you know what? It's not me. It's not the book.
No,
It's just they're just not into Kickstarters, or they're not into horror comics. Because horror now, Lord knows, I definitely picked the damn hardest genre to try to do. Horror is a smaller niche market. It's hard to do in general. And because if you ever want to make solid money in Kickstarters, just without being a super big name with a super IP like Lady Death or something like that, that's its own monster there. I'm
oh
so
yeah,
for that. Brian is like the Kickstarter whisperer. But with just regular Kickstarters, like if you want to do a TNA book.
oh yeah,
I'm sorry, your book can be complete shit, and it'll do $20,000-$30,000 on the Kickstarter because it's got TNA on the covers. So and I could dip into that. I could put myself into that market a little bit, even with Psycho Sal, and it would up the thing. Now the other thing, you also have to look at the scale. Those guys that are doing TNA covers or even legit Kickstarters like Brian's with Lady Death and so on, which is a great book, great read, great art, great guest artists, etc., etc. Like if you're going to do it right, that's where you do it right. Even though there are some adult covers per se, that's what you aim toward is Brian's Kickstarters. That's that's the top tier, holy grail of Kickstarter doing. But if you're doing, when you're doing, even if you're just doing TNA covers, you go look at their Kickstarters, or even some of these other artists that are doing comic related Kickstarters. When you look at them, they're doing $20 minimum books and $30 variants on the Kickstarter and $50 variants and $80 medals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We've done 3 Kickstarters so far for Psycho Sal with no TNA covers and a horror niche market, which is harder, and a legit story, not just TNA, hack and slash. Oh, look, she's in the shower scene again, kind of book. So that makes it a smaller market also for the public. But we've done it successful, and we've done it off $6 books, $8 books, $10 books. I think on the hell, even on the current Kickstarter where we up the game with some of the artists. I mean, Miko's on the newest Kickstarter. I mean, shit. Miko's covers a limited print run for the Kickstarter. Even inside the Kickstarter, it's a limited print run. And you can buy his 3 cover bundle, which is the trade dress regular, the color splash black and white virgin, and the metal trade dress. You can get that entire cover pack for I think it's like $100 or $120. It's like $20 less than what it should be. Then on the regular covers, the guest artist covers, there's 7 of us. I believe it's 7 total covers counting the blank. And you can get every single one of those for like, I think it's like $52.
Yeah.
Shit,
I'm going to
there's
bring it up
Kickstarters
here
out
real
there with
fast.
$50 for one book. So yeah, so see, I mean, we're already past the 5,500, and that's 5 stretch goals, by the way. We do our stretch goals closer together than anyone else does too, which means more money out of the creator's pocket to make those things possible. But like I said, so I'm super proud of that. Some people may look at that and go, "Oh, you did 6,800 on the first Kickstarter. You did like $6,000 on the second one, and this one, probably end up closing around the 6,000." Yeah, I get that, but we did it off one of the hardest genres to do books in, and we did it without TNA, and we did it putting quality artists on it and doing closer together stretch goals, and we did it off, $8 books, $6 books, $10 books, etc. So I'm super proud of that. Chris Hayes did an immaculate job writing these first 3 books, and for those that don't know, Psycho Sal, we've completely turned the serial killer thing loose. So Psycho Sal is about a serial killer in New Orleans, and it's during the 1980s, 1986 to be exact. And the way we're doing this, normally with serial killers, they fit. Oh, and for those that don't know, that image that should be right there for the 6,000 stretch goals, a Psycho Sal condom. So yep, we changed it. It's a Psycho Sal condom. We were going to do the voodoo card, but we changed it to the condom. But yeah, so normally serial killers fit in a certain profile. They hunt a certain way or a certain area. They kill certain types of people. That makes it a little easier for you to narrow down who they are. Psycho Sal has no box. He has no profile. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what sex you are. It doesn't matter whether you're from rich background, poor background, blue collar, a streetwalker, whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter to him. So anyone and everyone can be a victim. So we think that creates a more terrifying concept, with that, and that anyone could be a victim. You're not safe just because you're a male, or you're not safe just because you're blonde instead of brunette, or whatever the hell the case may be, like old serial killers. And
we were kind of talking about this the other day. It has that Dexter feel, it's like, except this is what happens when the dark passengers let loose.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to look at it. This is what it's like if you took a highly intelligent, absolutely no remorse or loving bone in their body, and you turn them loose, and he has no restrictions. He has no preferences, which makes him extremely dangerous. Like I said, anyone can be a victim at any time. But also the way we're writing the story is something that hasn't been done as far as we know. It's a 9 issues on the first run, and the first 3 books are written in the perspective from the 2 FBI agents working the murders. When we go into issues 4, 5, and 6, they will be written from the perspective of one of the victims. So you will follow them through their day-to-day life as he is stalking them and everything up until the point he takes them. Then on the last 3 issues of the series, 7, 8, 9, we're going to switch the perspective again on you, and you're going to be seeing this world through Psycho Sal's eyes himself. How he views his victims, how he views the world, how he picks his victims, things like that. So you're going to see this insane roller coaster ride through all 3 perspectives. And as far as we know, it's never been done in comics. Not that we could think of.
The only thing I can think of from a killer perspective.
Now, I'm sure books it's from like the entire book's being told, like the way, what did you say the name of the show?
Dexter.
I mean, Dexter's being told from the perspective of the killer.
Exactly.
So we've seen that kind of thing, but not this thing where the perspective changes through the storyline itself. It's usually one or the other.
It's an anthology is what it's become. It's an anthology of the story. And of course, I've not read number 4 yet, but the cat's being is that if you see it from a different perspective and then see it from here, then you can put the actual complete story together at that point. Uh, okay, oh, they were here because of this, and he could be sitting there watching you the whole time you're there.
Yeah. I mean, he could be the guy standing right next to you in a bar. I mean, that's to me that's terrifying, because again, like if you look at hey Fig, if you click on the Kickstarter link that he just linked, that Kickstarter is where you get issue number 3, and there is a once you pick one of the tiers, you'll have an add-on option where you can add on issues 1 and 2, and they're extremely affordable. Like that's one of the things we kind of honor ourselves on, is we make the Kickstarter affordable for everyone. That's one of the things when I talk to Chris, the guy who runs, him and McLean run Charter Comics, and that's the label my book is under. They're also the project managers for my Kickstarter. When they ask me about pricing and what I want to do, like I've got hardcore fans. I'm super proud of the damn fans I got. I could have done Psycho Sal, and I could have done like every other Kickstarter out there, and I could have done $20 minimum on regular cover, $30, $40, $50 on the other covers, and my fans would have been more than happy to buy them. They support everything I've done. I'm super, super, super proud to have the fans that I have. They are absolutely badass. But when Chris talked to me about that, I was like, Chris, I love the way you guys do things with Charter Comics. I want to do the same thing with Psycho Sal. I want it to be affordable for every single person that's a fan of me, no matter whether they're on fixed income or whether they work minimum wage or whether they have very minimal money they can spend a month on a book, or even up to the people that can pay the high-end prices. I want everyone on the Kickstarter to be able to afford not only it, but the tiers that go into it. I mean, like most people sell metal covers for $100 a pop. I mean, every time I do a Do You Poo, Hardly Thin, etc., those metals are $100 a pop, and they sell out every time. So, like I said, my fans will buy them, but we wanted to make them affordable. But yeah, we got a like $120 bundle for Miko. I mean, that's $140 worth of books for $120, and that's not counting all the stretch goal stuff. So I mean, look at that, $52 for all the other covers, including the blank. Yeah, I mean that's 7 damn covers, man. Most people don't do that.
No, usually it's a good $200, $300 package, even just for a trade dress version.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, trust me, we've looked at all the other Kickstarters that that are in our lane of popularity, so to speak. And I mean, look at that right there, like $100 slaughter pack. It comes with every bit of the covers. It comes with one of the knives that Psycho Sal uses in the books that's signed by Psycho Sal. It comes with a evidence bag that has one of the voodoo cards in it. It comes with crime scene tape. It comes with one of the rain ponchos that he wears. And it comes with another evidence bag it comes with an actual police report from one of the murders. So those things all those extra things aren't cheap to do. You don't make money off of them. They're just for fun,
So that's good. You sold out the full page.
Oh yeah, that sold on day one.
I figured it would.
Yeah, the advertisements, they go stupid quick. So I mean, like even for original art, I mean that's cheaper than what most of my commissions will run sometimes. Like even Miko gave us a great price on the original art for his cover. That's cheaper than what Miko charges for his original cover art. And he gave, now obviously if that one sells, 100% of that money goes to Miko, but he was gracious enough to let us do it. And Miko killed that cover. It's an homage to his Crow cover. But yeah, we got great artists on this one. Monty Anderson. We got DJ Hall, Tone Rodriguez. We got Steph Wilson, Marcelo, myself, and then of course, the great Miko. I've been a big fan for him a long time. I was so damn honored that he was willing to do a cover for me for this project. So, like I said, we do this off of $8 books, $10 books, that kind of situation. Again, we wanted to make sure it was affordable for everyone. And then we have fun with the stretch goals. That's one thing that Chris and them keeps trying to reel me in on. They're like, you don't have to do the stretch goal at every 1,000, right? Like you look at these other ones. They'll do a 5,000 stretch goal for like first stretch goal, and they'll do and then they don't do the next one till like 7,000 or 8,000. I'm like, yeah, but it's just fun. I was like, I don't care.
Well, and the thing is the cost of doing the stretch goals is not much.
No, they're not in a lot of cases. Now the pins, the buttons and stuff usually run you, about 50 cents a pop. Now the little bottle opener thing will run me a little bit more, and the condom idea, if we hit it, will run me a little bit more for sure. But I couldn't resist it. I was like, we got to joking about it at Permian Basin Con, and I was like, you know what, the hell with it, let's change it. Let's make that the 6,000 stretch goal, and everybody gets a Psycho South condom. So no, ours is not. Wait, what do you mean by digital? Are you talking about digital copy, or are you talking about?
No, these are all physical copies.
Yeah, they're all physical. Now there is a digital copy that does come with issue number 3 when you back it. No matter what tier you back, you'll get a digital copy of issue 3. But no, these are full blown books. And like I mentioned earlier, this book is done. All we're waiting on is the Kickstarter to end, and then we'll send it straight to print. Like that, I've made that, which Charter Comics does it as a whole, but that was one of the things I made explicitly clear is the book had to be 100% complete or at least 98 or so before the Kickstarter even goes live. Because the minute the Kickstarter is over with, we within that first week or so, we send the book to print, and then we get the books back in as soon as printing gets done with them, and we quality check them, and then we start packing and shipping. I think on issue number 2, when I got the books in hand, I believe within 3 days, I had all 80 something or 100 backer books sent out. They were all out the door. So I spent like 3 days, sorting, packing, shipping. So we did that for 3 days straight. I put everything else on hold and sent them out the door. So, and we'll do the same thing for this one. As soon as they come in, quality check, bag and board, sign, etc., whatever I need to do, and then we'll put together the mailers, the bundles, and then send them out the door. And that 3 days. But now it was me by myself. If I'd had some help, it maybe would have went a little faster. But like I said, I bagged and boarded and packaged and sorted 8 hours a day for the first 2 days, and then the third day I took everything to the post office. So
I'll give them a look. I'll let them see what it looks like. So when you get your package in, so to speak, you pick your cover that you want. That's your primary one. Like I went with this one for the primary cover.
Lauren's cover.
Yeah, I love that, dude. That was like one of my favorite ones. I'm like, and then you get that cool little back, the little print, the Nintendo Power. I love that. But when I bought mine, Fig, I bought the other 2 issues. I bought the add-on. I bought the first issue. And then I bought the second issue as well. That way I was caught up with the actual physical issues of it.
Right.
And these are $8 each. Most comics today in a LCS are $4.99, $6.99, depending on what it is. That price, you're not going to beat that price for this on a Kickstarter. These Kickstarters are usually, like William was saying, $15, $20 minimum.
Yeah, cover A or whatever you want to call it.
And that's just cover A, And then when you buy, you get these other covers, like I've got from William. I picked up these.
That's one of the exclusives. That's for, is that the box or is that Cajun Gamer?
I think
there was 2 retailer exclusives for issue number 2. Is that number 2?
This number 1.
Oh, it's number 1? Okay, so there was 2. No, there was 3. Yeah, that's right. There were 3 retailer exclusives for issue number 1. Gates Caves Comics and Collectibles did a retailer exclusive using Tone Rodriguez. And then the Cajun Gamer and the box both did retailer exclusives for number one, and they both used me as the artist. I was like, guys, you can use anybody you want. Oh, no. We want you to do the artwork. So
this
yeah,
is
there's Tone's cover.
I just had him. He was just here, so I had him sign the Tone
cover.
Oh,
nice.
And then we had this one last year.
Yep, that's the Cowtown Comic-Con exclusive. Yep, it has the Fort Worth, Texas courthouse in the background.
Yep. And so, and these are all reasonable prices. This is what I think is one of my favorite parts is like anything I've bought from you has always been reasonable. Yep. But then when you put out stuff like this, the Hardly Thin, Leatherface about to get her, I'm like, dude, this is awesome. I love this stuff.
Yeah, I've got one more. So that particular run of covers, for those that don't know, of course, that's Marat Michael's creation, Hardly Thin. Correct. And he allowed me to do some covers under my own label. So originally the Jason one and Hardly Thin is part of a series called Hardly 80s. So it was supposed to be 4 covers. Now the first cover, Jason Voorhees and her. Now that one wasn't under my label, a retailer. From the second one on has been under my label alone. So I fully funded those books myself until they sold to the fans. But yeah, her and Freddy Krueger was the second cover I did. And then the third cover was her and Leatherface. So I've got one more to do, and I need to hurry up and do it. And it'll be her and Michael Myers.
I cannot. So I need to get the back issues then, because I've only got this one.
The Jason Voorhees one, man, I don't have any more of those. Those are long gone, and I've not seen anybody sell them. People have been sitting on that one for some reason, big time. Which, to be fair, I haven't seen anybody selling the Freddy cover either. Now, I think I still have the regular cover of Fred, the nice cover of Freddy. Now it's APs though. I don't have any of the ones that went to the public, obviously. But I think I still have 1 or 2 of the trade dress nice Freddy cover, and I think I have 1 of the red blood virgin Freddy cover, and then on the I think that because you already got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one. Jason, that one's long gone, and I've not seen it pop up anywhere. You might could check eBay maybe to see, but I know me personally, I've not seen anybody flipping it.
No, and I've seen this one twice for sale already.
Oh, okay.
And that was and
now was it one of mine, like one of the street copies, or was it one of? Now you might could check. Now more than likely it's probably gone by now, also because of time. You might could check with Marat, because each one of these covers that we do or anyone else does, he'll do a couple for himself to take the cons at his booth. Mm-hmm. But now his will say just AP on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mine says WR and then the number of the book, so it has my initials.
He had the AP ones at where was I saw him? I think it was Fan Expo. Oh, okay. He had some of them, the AP ones there, and that was before I bought this one. You know, okay. So I was like, all right, let me get that.
Yeah, but might could message him and see. Like I said, more than likely he probably don't, but I mean, you could still ask him. Now, of course, the AP ones are a little bit different value-wise than my WRs, and that's just because, mine are only 5 of the medals, and they're only 10 of the regulars, and they don't get reprinted. Exactly. So it's a little different value-wise, but also means if he does have a copy, you might can get it a little bit more cost-effective than if you found like one of my APs on one of my WRs online. Yeah. Because I sell my WRs, my regular covers, I sell them at cons for $100 a pop. Yeah. My medals, I sell them for $200 a piece.
Yeah. If you had a good selection last time I was there too, because I almost bought that Do You Poo one. I'm like, but but Marissa's here, and so is Ariel, so is everybody. And that's kind of the cat's like con season. It's like you can't buy everything from
Yeah, you got to
everyone.
spread it around.
You do, and I've
Oh,
learned
awesome!
that.
Thank you, Fig. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you.
So, so
Um,
yeah, so
so
yeah,
yeah, so I'll look for you and see, and I'll give you a good deal on it if I got it. But I want to think I have one of the blood virgins for Freddie, and I think I have one or two of the trade dress of Freddie. But yeah, I'll check. I'll check as soon as I get a chance though and see. But oh, I forgot about the punchline.
yeah. So this is the kind of stuff that Fake Life that William does. Like you had this on the page for a while, and nobody picked it up.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the price. I'm like, dude, that's easy. I bought that one.
Yep. Well, the
So,
sad thing is that's why I tell people like you want to try to post as much as you can, and you want to do it in multiple areas because there was people like when I did that sale a while back where I had that sale on sketch covers because I wanted to try out some new blanks that I got in, so I ran a sale just so I could do a bunch of them, testing. Mm-hmm. And there was people that came in after that sale was over with. Like I only did like 10 or 15 of them to try out. No, I was trying out some new pens I ordered and a different brand. I want to see how they would do with Copics, etc., or just in general. And I think that sale filled up within the first like day and a half. All the spots were gone, and then somebody I had tagged never even saw it. It was like weeks later. He's like, "Hey man, is this still available?" I was like, "No, dude." I was like, "Those are like 3 weeks ago, man." I was like, "Oh, that's gone." He's like, "Oh man, I never even saw this, man." I was like, "Yeah, it happens." So,
and that's why you got to pay attention because, like, I was asking you about pre-commissions for when you did my Vampirella one, and that's the catch. It's like you got to pay attention. And especially if you know somebody's coming to a convention, 99% of the time they're going to do a pre-commission sale before they go, and the reason is. A, you want to know how much you got to do before you even come, so to speak. And then B, it tells us, says, all right, there's 10 spots. If you don't get in on them 10 spots, you're SOL. You wait till the next time you go see this guy.
Yeah.
Or you buy full price.
I'll do about a week and a half to 2 weeks before show. I'll do 10 spots. And when I get to the show, I only do 4 spots a day or 4 spots a day. And then that's only headshots. Because I'm 99% of the time I'm there by myself. So I don't want to sit at that table with my face buried in work and not giving the fans the time that I think they deserve for coming to the show and coming to my table. So I do stuff really quick, and that's just like that picture I just sent you. So I'm doing a series now called Metal Legends, where I'm taking certain characters from certain companies. I'm going to be turning them into metal prints. And they're going to be super limited print runs, like 10, period, and not ever reprinted. So, like, even on that, so I'm doing something with those. Like, I've got my list of characters, and let's see, that didn't show up good, did it? Oh, there it goes. Can you zoom in on it? Or
let's see.
How does that? It should be. Let's see. I can't remember how you do it. How they work. I don't know if you have to save it to the computer and then put it in there or what, but anyway, so with that series, these are hyper detailed pieces that'll be turned into the metals, and so I get things done faster when it's on the commission list than me trying to do it in my free time. And then on top of that, when people choose these characters, they get the original 11x17 pencils for them, and they get it at a, normally those pieces cost $450 for me to do. People are getting them for $300, but it helps me. Don't get me wrong; it's not some kind of hero thing. By them taking ownership of those, it puts it on my official commission list, and I can do them faster, which means I can get them off to the print shop, and I can get the metal prints printed faster, and then get those sold. Yeah, there you go, much better. So that's like the Spawn one I just finished. That I scanned that yesterday. That's gone to Dave Kemp and Dan Kemp to be covered.
Yeah. My boys. Those are my boys. I love seeing
Oh
those
yeah,
guys
I love
color.
Dave and Dan. They're freaking awesome. Like here's the Superman that Dave just sent me. If you want to save that and share it. So here's what the Superman medal is going to look like. But yeah, so I'm always doing things like that. Because yeah, it may I may lose a little money on the job itself, so to speak, but it allows me to get it on the commission list. It allows me to get it off to the colorist and get it off to Jacob Stem in Vegas to do the metal prints. And it just so that puts the money back in my pocket faster instead of it, because that spawn piece, I've been working on that in my little bit of free time I get here or there. And I've been working on that for like 8 months. I mean, so waiting on me to do it for me, that shit will never get done. so me offering it up at a discounted price to get it on the official commission list, way easier than me doing it in my free time. But yeah, I just sent you the Superman one if you want to show that one. But Dave just finished that one and sent it to me like yesterday or a couple days ago. But he did a great job on the colors. And if you guys ever need a colorist, anyone that's listening, Dave and Dan Kemp, they're brothers, and they do incredible colors. So definitely give them a follow on social media and check them out. He's working on the Wonder Woman colors right now. That's part of this Metal Legends. So as of right now, we've got 3 pieces that are finished. So for DC, I'm doing Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, obviously the Trinity, got to have them. And then the villain side, I'm doing Scarecrow, just to be a little different. And I'm doing Darkseid. And then on Marvel, I'm doing Spider-Man. And I can't make my mind up about the other person just yet. I thought about Venom, but I've already got a couple of Venoms I've done. So I'm trying to think of something different.
Wolverine, damn it. You haven't done Wolverine in a while.
Well, I've done Wolverine in a regular print. But yeah, you're right. I haven't done him in a metal or anything. So I can't. Part of me thought about the Hulk. I think that could possibly be a really good looking metal. And then on the villain side, I had, I believe, Carnage and Galactus. And then from Image, I've got Spawn and the clown version of Violator. And then I'm doing a Shredder and Raphael. And so, some of those are already spoken for. People have already claimed them, but there's a few of them that nobody's claimed yet. So, like I said, the post is on my page there somewhere, or someone can PM me directly. But yeah, dude, I'm super excited about the Metal Legends. I cannot wait for those to be finished.
That's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see how they turn out, because you did that Optimus one a while back, and that one turned out phenomenal.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that. I'll send it to you real quick. Yeah, the Optimus one, that one was real popular, which I knew it would be, because that was part of that other set I was doing called 80s Metal. So we had the Lion-O. Oh my God, dude!
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you ever saw the Lion-O. I
saw that
one. But yeah, those have done extremely well. I knew Optimus was going to be popular, which I still have to do the counter metal for the Optimus, and I think I'm torn on that one. It's either going to be Soundwave, which is my favorite character out of the villains, and Optimus is my favorite character, of course, out of the good guys. But it's either going to be Soundwave or it's going to be Starscream. And I can't make my mind up about that one. I'm more than likely, where is Optimus? More than likely, it's probably going to be Soundwave, I would think. Well, I was going to show you the Optimus, but it's buried in my photos somewhere.
See, I want to see your take on a Galvatron.
Yeah, I thought about Galvatron also, because because that's the other thing. That's the only drawback to when you're doing metals, is you have to try to pick colors that are going to pop on the metal treatment. And Galvatron, I thought about him, but it felt kind of weird. having Optimus, and then having Galvatron, because I try to keep it a little bit in the same generational kind of thing with
Mm,
one another. And and when Galvatron was around, it was Rodimus.
yep.
So that's why I really hadn't done that.
Hey, but see, that's a problem solved. Now you can do a Megatron, you can do the Starscream, you can do a Galvatron and a Rodimus, and then you do one more just to make six total. Now you have a six print set you could sell.
Yeah, but it's still one of those things that you have, while you're also having to pick characters that pop visually, you're also having to pick characters that are kind of popular that'll sell, because metal
Exactly.
prints are not cheap to make.
No, they're not. I mean,
So
that's why I wasn't able to grab the Optimus one because at the time we had every other Kickstarter in the world taking my
yeah.
money.
But yeah, so like on the 80s metal, we've done Lion-O and Mum-Ra. We've done He-Man and Skeletor. And then of course we have Optimus, and then we'll have either. But the reason I didn't go, I can't find it, obvious for the figures. The reason I didn't go with Megatron, because Megatron, when I was first doing this, I was trying to stick strictly to the good guy, the bad guy, and the leader. But as I got to getting into these, and started trying to figure out how to do the colors to where the colors will pop on the metals, because they have to be over the top. Optimus, perfect. Red on metal, it turns out beautiful. Blues on metal turn out beautiful. And then I got to looking at Megatron. I was like, oh shit, it's just gray. And then he's got like the purple and a little bit of white in his eyes, and that's it. And I was like, that is not going to look good on a metal. I mean, it won't at all. And so that's when I was like, okay, we'll just do Soundwave, or either we'll do Starscream, because they've got those reds, they got the blues and everything that'll pop on it. And then the next set I'm doing and that one's going to be a little tough on one side, because I'm not sure how that's going to work. I got to relook at his character, but the next one's going to be She-Ra and Hordak, which I think will do okay, because Hordak's got red on him, he's got blue.
He's got blue, yeah.
So I think it might be okay. She-Ra will do fine, just because all the bright colors, the yellows and the lightning and all this kind of stuff. Because I'll do her the same way I did He-Man, where she's holding up the sword.
Yeah.
And then the other one I wanted to do, but again, I'm kind of torn, because I don't know, how he's going to look, because I really want to do him, because it's kind of a minority thing from my neck of the woods, being part Native American. And I want to do Brave Star and Tex Hex.
Oh yeah, I've not seen that since I was a
Yep,
kid in the
exactly,
80s.
dude. I mean, most people
Herculoids,
probably haven't even thought about them, Uh, yeah, I mean the backgrounds, yeah, you can kind of do some things with it to make the backgrounds pop, but then if you end up doing a character that's bland, like just grays or something like that, these flat gray colors, because metal looks good. Like when I did the Doctor Doom metal print, it was just a green background representing his colors, and it was his face. That thing was gorgeous as a metal. So if you're doing metal, like, if you're doing a robot that's metal, it would look fine in the grays and whatnot. But when it's just like that flat gray, like Megatron is, it won't look right. And then if you do some type of background to make up for it, then it just ends up overshadowing the character. So, it's just one of those things that, it just does that. But yeah, so you have to be kind of picky about the character with the colors, and then of course you have to be kind of picky, because you got to try to figure out, okay, which one's going to be the ones that people are going to buy,
Well, and it's got to be some like everybody knows Optimus, everybody knows
Yep.
Megatron. Not everybody's a huge fan of Rodimus and Galvatron because
That's right.
there's a consternation after season 2, after the movie, and a lot of people stopped watching.
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
wasn't Optimus anymore. Now they
I
brought
mean,
him
the
back a
people,
couple of times, but that's still not the same.
yeah. I mean, the people are going to buy, like, doing an 80s theme thing. I mean, the people are going to buy that are adults our age and stuff that grew up with it. And I don't personally know anyone out of all of my friends that grew up in the 80s. I don't know any of them that were like, oh, I like Rodimus better or I like Galvatron better. You do? You are
I'm a
the first.
I'm a Rodimus fan.
You
Yeah,
are definitely the first then.
yeah.
I have never, ever, from fans to my own personal fans I grew up with, I've never known anybody that went, I like Rodimus better than Optimus.
Yep, I'm a
Yeah.
Rodimus guy, and the reason why is because
First.
so this is I always get the fight with everybody on it. It's like, well, he caused Optimus to get killed. No, Optimus got himself killed. He could have killed Megatron how many times in
Yeah.
2 full seasons, and he didn't do shit. So he got himself killed. Now, did Rodimus help get him killed? Damn, Skippy, he did. But
Yeah, he did not help the situation.
no, but it's funny. It's like, after all these millennia of wars and wars, he could have killed Megatron
Yeah.
at any point. I just thought it was funny. I love seeing crazy Megatron as Galvatron. That
I
was one
mean,
of my
he
favorite
was
characters.
definitely like as far as like severity. I mean, he was definitely more of the it is definitely my way or you're dead.
Yeah,
Like there was no tolerating stupidity, the way Megatron kind of tolerated like Starscream over and over and over. So yeah, there's no doubt about it. Galvatron was definitely more like severe. But I don't know. And now the one thing I always hated, and Megatron's not my favorite or anything like that. Like I said, Soundwave is my favorite. Starscream is the second favorite for the Decepticons. And then and then Constructicons is my
yeah,
favorite big boys. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So
There it is.
yep.
It's up there.
But as far as like the conversion, like that's one of the things I never liked about Megatron. I never liked the fact that he turned into this little handgun. Like I always thought it should have been a tank or something. So that part about Galvatron, I love that they addressed that kind of thing and they turned him into this like,
Huge
cannon
laser
like
cannon.
tank, yeah, or not tank, but this like like this cannon style weapon, that's actually big. So I'm glad they did that. But and I love the movie. The movies, I mean, I went to the theater a couple years ago and watched it when it came back for the anniversary edition. It's definitely one of my all-time favorite movies as far as animated. But yeah, I'm an Optimus fan, that's for sure. He's my favorite. To be honest with you, I can't think of anyone else on the Autobot side that I can't even really think of anybody on the Autobot side I like a second best. I'm sure there's probably someone I'm forgetting or something, but yeah, I don't think so. I think it's Optimus is like the only Autobot that I really just like. And then because I've always kind of leaned towards the more villain characters anyway. That's one of the reasons I love about like Batman universe and the villains that he has and stuff. But because I love Starscream's character, man. I mean not Starscream, Soundwave's character. I absolutely love that. Even though he was like no personality or really anything like that, he was just kind of straightforward, But I always loved him with the little ejecting cases and shit like that. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a no bullshitter. Just get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and like I said, it's always been cool to see. So, and then like I said, out of the big ones, man, Constructicons is, and that's I've never gotten to own those. Now when I was a kid, I even though I watched Transformers, my thing was GI Joe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I was a massive GI Joe collector as a kid. That's all I ever asked for birthdays or Christmas. I even owned the USS Flag.
Holy shit, dude!
Yeah, I had the USS Flag, man. I had a massive GI Joe. By the time I was like, I think when did that happen? I think I was about 16 or 17. And I'd been collecting GI Joe since I was, since it came out. And so I had tons and tons of GI Joe shit. Um, but I ended up we lost it in a house fire, so I lost that entire collection. But yeah, and they were all mint. Like I was one of those kids. My idea of playing was I would take my toys down, clean them, and put them back. So that was the extent of my toy playing. So they were immaculate condition. Sadly, when the house fire happened, yeah, dude, I want another USS Flag so bad, but I don't have the space for it, and the price is a bit ridiculous now.
Thousands and thousands of dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, for one that's in good shape. Two things I wish I still have from my collection is the USS Flag, and I wish I still had the whale, the hovercraft.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
I've got friends who've been building that whale, trying to piece part it together, and they've been doing it for like 7 years, 8 years, trying to get like
yeah,
the original pieces. I mean, at one point, you just got to either A, give up, or B, just go get repro parts, and then just finish it. But I love the whale because it floats on everything. I mean, it's an
uh-huh.
actual floating toy that you can put anywhere.
Yep, yeah. I watch those videos every once in a while on YouTube where these guys have these massive collections. Like there's this one guy that does he's a massive GI Joe collector, and he does these different videos talking about what toys came out in what year, and does these full reviews about them. And I just watch them sometime. And I thought about it there for a little while about getting back into collecting them, and then I started looking at what some of these people were charging, and I was like, holy Jesus, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like I remember I played with I broke so many Joes when I was a kid. It's
I
like
never
we
did
would take it,
that.
we would just do pop, let it go, or the best part, you get the paratroopers, stuck in the trees,
Yeah.
you know.
No, I was one of those kids, man. I shit you not. Mine were all displayed. I had a big bedroom when I was a kid. Now I grew up dirt poor, but luckily my grandparents raised me, and anytime I wanted GI Joe for my birthday and stuff, they got me that. Then my mom and them got me that. So, and they always kind of overdid it at Christmas because they would shop through the year, layaways and stuff like that. So they were able to kind of get us what we wanted. And, I remember having that damn 6-foot aircraft carrier set up in my room, and then the bookshelves with all the other G.I. Joe stuff on it. And that was it. I would take them down, wipe them with a rag and stuff, and dust them off, and then put them back. And that was the extent of my playing. My toys never saw outside. It never saw other kids playing with them. It never saw shit. And then lost it in a house fire.
See, I remember playing with Optimus and Megatron out in the dirt. I remember breaking part of the arm off of Optimus at one point and crying because I broke it. And then, but that's what I remember doing. I played with them all, and then after you just don't remember after some point like what happened to all of this stuff, and then it's like, man, I would love to have my old Lion-O again. My old Mumra again. But now you see the cost of those vintage toys. I'm like, nah, I'm good. If I want it, I can go buy the Super 7 one, the new one that came out.
I hate it happened that way because I don't really get rid of anything. I'm a bit of a pack rat. Like, I mean, it's crazy how much random shit I'll have in a box in a closet. So there's no doubt in my mind, like if it hadn't been for that, like there would be mint GI Joe shit,
Everywhere.
sitting in a corner somewhere. I hate that happening, of course. And now, for me personally, let's see if I can get this out. Come over here. So, like my problem now is I collect those.
Yeah, you know which ones I want to. You know those chaos ones.
I collect statues now. Where's the rest of this cord? So I don't know how well you can see all that, but you can't really see it. Shit. But anyway, so I collect sideshow statues and stuff like that now. And of course, shit, that's probably hell. It'd probably be cheaper to collect GI Joe.
It would. Even the new GI Joe, the 6-inch line, could be cheaper than that because I do too. I've got some of the old stuff. I've got the Lady D.
Scale. Yeah, see the 1/1 scale Harley Quinn.
I remember when you got that too. And you were so happy that
Oh
day.
yeah, my oldest daughter, she's a huge Harley Quinn fan. She wants it so bad. She has a fit over it. But yeah, dude, like it's woo, because I collect that stuff and I collect like movie replica swords,
Mm.
stuff like that. Like I've got actual Lion-O sword uh with the
Describe
30
it.
like 34-inch blade on it. So I got the big one. I mean, I have that sword in the like I don't even have nowhere to put the shit. I've got He-Man sword in there, like the actual size legit sword. I've got it in there. I've got the sword of omens. I have the sword that from holy shit, the Sleepy Hollow movie that with wow, I'm having a brain fart now. The Sleepy Hollow movie with Johnny Depp
Johnny Depp. Yeah.
and what's his name that played the Horseman. I have the Horseman sword. I've also got the Lich King sword in there from World of Warcraft. That's like a
See,
$3,000 sword.
you need the Highlander swords.
Yep, I need the. I don't have Highlander yet, and the other one that I really want that I haven't been able to find again is I want what was it called? Lone Claw, Lone Tooth, Lone. It was the sword from Game of Thrones for Jon Snow with the wolf
Oh
head.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yep.
I do want that one. I hadn't had a chance to find it again. I found it once a handful of years ago, and I've not seen it anywhere since. I mean, I'm sure it's on eBay somewhere, but I
Yeah.
don't I don't like buying shit online. I want to buy it physically somewhere at a show or something like that where I can see the damn thing. Oh
Well,
yeah, the He-Man sword's freaking cool. If it wasn't piled up in that closet there, I'd show it to you. But yeah, the He-Man sword is nice, but that Lion-O, that sword of omens, man, that sword is gorgeous.
that just came out not too long ago. I saw like when it came out, and I mean, just the weight alone, like you've got to have a little bit of muscle strength to
Yeah,
hold that
yeah,
sword
it's not
up.
light. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I just picked this one up at Permian Basin. Oh, this sucker's heavy.
Oh yeah, Mjolnir.
That sucker's heavy. So I just got this one. It comes with the base and everything on it. So yeah, like it would it would probably legit be cheaper to collect original GI Joe.
Yeah. But you know what? The nice thing about doing it that way, it's clean.
Yeah,
You know, it's like it's not so stuck in with every like for like my stuff back here. I got a ton of stuff, but I try to keep it spaced out.
yeah,
You know, um, but there's a lot of collectors who go stop, and at least yours, you can see every little thing, and that's what I try to do with my statues too. Is like it's got a space in between that way I can actually see it
yeah,
because you spend a lot of money on a statue. You know that as well as I do, and it's
yep,
you might as well display it right.
yeah, yeah. Because so far I've got what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I got about 12 sideshow statues. And then a bunch of other like Bowen designs from like the early 2000s and stuff like that. The ones you can't find anywhere anymore. So I've got some of those. No, that's not a toolbox. That's an actual legit like the Thor hammer. That's not the toolbox. I would love to have that little toolbox thing though. I saw that online somewhere. That toolbox thing is cool as hell. But but no, that sucker is a legit thing. It's heavy as hell. This one here is heavy too. Um, let's see if I can get it out. This is heavy as hell too.
Oh yeah, that's the sideshow one, right?
I don't remember if this was sideshow or not because I bought this one secondhand from a place in one of the cities I was at. But this one has the gems in it. You can change out. You can change the gems out and they actually glow.
Ah,
But this sucker right here, it's metal. It's full blown metal and it's heavy as hell. That'll give you a hand job right there. That'll give you a heavy one. But
that ain't the
one there was
yeah, that ain't the Marvel Legend cheap version.
uh-uh. But it is definitely cool though. So yeah, so I got into, you know, collecting that stuff because I don't collect comics anymore. Um, you know, I sold my collection. I sold my first collection like 10 years ago, and then when I first got back into when I started getting into doing this professionally, I started collecting again just to kind of, you know, keep up with what's hot and what's not. So of course that led in, like I said, addictive personality. So that led into me wanting to buy slabs and stuff. So like 2 years ago, I sold like 40 slabs, and almost every single one of them were yellow labeled, you know, 9/8 and shit like that were you know, CGC, CBCS, etc. I had ASM 300, I had Hulk 181 6.5, ASM 129. I had a bunch of that shit and sold every bit of it. And it broke my heart about the Hulk one. I mean, I
Yeah.
knew it would increase in value, you know, 500 a year, 1,000 a year, maybe. I knew it would skyrocket if they ever did a movie. And, um, but when I sold mine, it was a 6.5 blue label, and I sold it to someone I knew. And at that time, it was like a $3,000 book. I got like 2,800 for it. Okay, cool.
That's pretty good.
It wasn't 11 damn months later that book skyrocketed to $8,000.
Oh,
Yeah,
if
that
it,
broke my heart. So yeah, that's an actual Craftsman toolbox behind me. That's where I keep all the art supplies. So that thing is full of pens and paper and all kinds of stuff that's related to art.
hey, Fig Life. I do occasionally. He does Instagram mostly now. He doesn't do Facebook and YouTube as much.
Who's that,
But do
Brocklet?
no, it's a friend of ours called Life with Brock. He does custom Marvel Legends and things like that.
Oh, okay.
So he's been doing that for years and years. But I think he finally found a good platform with Instagram to actually sell stuff.
Oh, okay, cool.
Um, but that's the fun part about collecting. Like I collect a little bit of everything, like literally.
Ah, I like that. That's cool.
So like I do original artwork. I do kind of like
I tell you something artwork related. If you hadn't started doing it yet, that is absolutely money investment. That with a high return, dude. If you're not buying like Do You Poos and Hardly Thin original art, you're severely missing out.
oh yeah, I've got a couple of the Pray for the Sinners
Ah, cool.
like that. Marat, and then I've got the Rufinos. I don't know if you can see it or not here, but so that one's a Dynamite the Rufino of
Ah,
Chaos,
okay.
and then the other one is the Underland from
Yeah.
Marissa Pope. She did,
And
but
that's what, you know, I keep telling people that like it's cool to collect books, but if you want to collect, because if you want to collect something that it doesn't matter whether it's a new artist or a 20-year vet, you buy original art from published shit they done, whether it's interior pages or especially covers, you will never, ever, ever lose money on that.
no,
Ever. Unless
you
you
never
get
will.
desperate and try to flip it. But because as the more work they do, the more their popularity goes up, the more value the art goes up. Like a lot of people need to chill out on buying $80, 3,000 print run books that came out last week that are in people's, you know, $10 buy it now being 6 months to a year from now. They need to chill out on that shit and either buy commissions, buy original published art, or buy low print run artist proofs, like
Hmm.
you know, whether they're Do You Poos, Hardly Thins, etc. Regardless of whether people think those are good books or not, is irrelevant. The value is there, and they stay up as long as you don't get desperate for money and try to flip it, like, and just take whatever you can get. But
Yes, especially like I've got golden medals, stuff like that. You know, like the one and one kind of stuff, the
mhm,
lifetime, once in a lifetime stuff.
yep,
That's what I love. Like Marat and Ryan do on their Kickstarters. They'll do those one of one. Like, dude,
yep,
I try to grab one. Like I got an Eric Basuda, an Ebass one like that,
yeah.
and it's the Vampirella Pray for the Sinner gold version. I'm like, I am not getting rid of that book ever.
No, because it'll always go up. And like I said, same thing goes regardless of like I hear people say, "Oh, I don't like Do You Poo," or "I don't like." Dude, it ain't got shit to do with you liking it or not. If you want a book that you can purchase on a pre-sale event, get for $30, that's limited to a 25-30 print run, slap it in your damn collection, and 6 months to a year from now, you can put it out there for $200-$300 and it sells. That's the books you need to be buying. If you can get your hands on any of the artist proofs, especially someone who's doing like their initials to where it's super limited, it has nothing to do with what versions Marat might have at his booth. That's printing money. Like, I don't know why some people have this like weird thing about it. I'm like, well, I don't really want to do commissions. Why? That's where your biggest money is.
You get the most money. Like I have a commission today that I'm working on with Don McTeague.
Oh, nice.
And it's a cover that she did for Coffin last year.
Yeah.
And so I'm buying that cover because I know that it's never going to lose value. It's Don McTeague. I mean, she's been doing this stuff for almost 15 years.
Yep.
And she's just now today she's really big now because of Zenoscope, Coffin, all the stuff she's been doing with Rothic as well. And it's like, sometimes that's what happens. Some of these people, Ali Garza. I mean, Ali Garza's been doing this for over 20 years, but now he's big. Like he does so many books now. And it's like, I remember buying his old.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why you need to, like I said, grab these Do You Poos, grab these Harley Thins. When their commission lists open, grab a commission if you can. Definitely jump on Kickstarters where they're doing well. Because, again, it doesn't matter whether you're a brand new artist like myself that's been doing it for 5 years, even though I've got like 70 published covers and I've done retailers for Image and Dynamite, et cetera, when you got someone that's grinding as hard as myself or some of these other people are that is not going anywhere, that they're going to be here for the long run, obviously by the content of work they're already doing, they're not going anywhere. So they're going to eventually hit that one big book or that one big company that really pitches them forward. It's just a matter of time and before it happens. And, and when that does, everything that you may have bought from them just skyrocket. I mean, that's all it takes.
Well, and it's like Ariel Diaz, she just got her first Marvel cover. That's Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. She made it to the big league. She finally got it.
That's a retailer exclusive.
Correct. But to me,
remember, now there is a difference.
Yeah, there is.
Like even though I've done covers that were Image Comics and Dynamite Comics books, they're retailer exclusives.
Correct.
I just because there's a difference between a retailer hiring you to do it than Marvel hiring you to do it. So I'm just because I always want to make sure that's clear because I don't want it to, like, even though I've done Stray Dogs and I've done Department of Truth, I've done Haha, Vampirella, I don't want anyone who has specifically done covers for those companies thinking I'm trying to take away what they did as a company artist versus me being a retailer artist, because there is a bit of a difference.
Yeah, and that's for me is a big thing too, because you'll see the people who actually made it and they've done the actual, like Miko, for example. Miko made it. He's worked for Marvel. He's worked for DC directly.
Exactly.
Like I have his Wolverine covers he did, a long time ago. And I was like, when I saw that Sabretooth cover come out, I don't even buy Marvel books. I bought that for that cover.
Yeah.
Because it's Miko.
That's how you support artists. Because you can't look at it as, I'm not buying from Marvel. I don't like what they're doing right now. Like the same thing goes, like I've had people say that, I'm not really into horror comics, so I'm not really going to pick that book up. It's not about that. So you're doing the right thing. What you're doing is how fans should do. The fact that even though you're not Marvel, you're not buying Marvel books, you saw Miko do a cover for Marvel, so boom, you go grab that cover. That's how you support the artist, because even though the money is not going in the artist's pocket, you're supporting something they did, which still lets people know, hey, this guy's still got some popularity. We're going to bring him back on something else. So that you're doing it the right way. That's how you do it. It doesn't matter whether you don't like Marvel. It doesn't matter whether you don't like that particular book. It doesn't matter whether you don't like Kickstarters or you don't like horror comics. You support it because the person you're a fan of did it.
That's right.
You know,
Well,
that's because the more their books sell, the more work we will get.
it's like Purgatory, for example. I'm a huge Chaos Purgatory fan. And then so a lot of us don't like the Dynamite version of Purgatory.
Yeah.
But Mike Crome did a phenomenal cover. I picked up that. Colette Turner's been doing great covers on Vampirella. I'm picking that up. Am I reading the book? No. What am I picking it up for? I'm picking it up for the cover.
Yep.
You know, because I want to support them. I know with the time and the effort it is, because you know why? Half you guys show us while you're drawing it. You know, and so it's a lot of times you get to be part of the interaction, and that's what's phenomenal. Is like you get to see it from pencils to inks to colors to cover. And then and then you go look in your LCS and it's like, that's Mike Crone. That's Colette Turner. You know, that's Nei Rufino. That's Don McTeague, you know.
Yeah, I've done the same thing. Like I've purchased covers of Miko's and I'll never read the book. You know, I've bought some of Ariel Diaz covers because I love her artwork, but I'll never read the book. I'll never buy that book for any other reason.
Exactly.
So, you know, there's been Kickstarters that I have supported because a certain artist I knew was working on it, or it was a Kickstarter for a certain person that I knew. There's Kickstarter shit still sitting down here that I've never even opened, you know, and because it's not about that. It's strictly about helping someone that I follow be successful. That's what it's about. You know, exactly. Just like Miss Me Out. Like there's probably a lot of I think that book's almost sold out. And it was a bigger print run, a much bigger print run. And I think they're almost sold out of the Naughty and Nice for that. Now I did that cover. That's a retailer exclusive. You know, and a huge thank you to the guys over at you know, the Miss Me Out brand and everything that allowed me to do the cover. I so appreciate that. With I believe it's Merck Publishing. But that retailer exclusive is for Top of the World Art and Collectibles, a brand new comic shop out of Alabama. This is my third cover with them in a month. So so they're hitting the ground rolling. I've done 2 Do You Poo covers with them. Frank and Pooh. It's we're doing some Universal Monsters covers. So Frank and Pooh, and then the Creature from the Pooh Lagoon, and then of course we just did the Miss Meow Naughty and Nice cover, colors by Dave Kemp, and I've got fans that bought that book that they may not ever open the book, you know. Same thing with the Do You Poos. I mean, most people don't open them, but that's what it's about. You guys are, as fans, you guys are doing the most important part out of all of this. And that's supporting the artists that you follow when you can and grabbing the books that they do. Because the more we sell out of these books, the more hype and everything that happens quickly on these books because of you guys, the more work that will come our way.
Especially work like that.
Yeah. I love the cover. I think it absolutely came out wonderful. When I sent the loose design I sent a couple of designs over to Merck for them to choose from for the poses, and this was the pose that they chose. And then when I sent them the final pencils, they loved it, and I sent it straight over to Dave, and he absolutely killed the colors.
I love it. I mean, like it's fine. Like, I actually read Merck books. I've been reading them since they came out. You know, when Death Rage first came out, I've been reading those and all the Born of Blood stuff. And so, like, but the cast with Miss Meow is like, I've only read them up through I think what the current Kickstarter is. You know, and it's like for me, it's like okay, I'm waiting for the rest of the series to get done because we only got so many issues in the first run. You know. So once I get the rest, I'm going to sit down and read the second half of Miss Meow, read the second half of Death Rage and Born of Blood. But to me, I love how they did it. You know, now granted, there was some people that were kind of mad about how that went down.
I have no clue about any of that.
So some people were mad that it went to LCS first.
Mm.
You know, like the issues past the Kickstarter. Like we got to issue like 3, and
Uh,
then 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are already going to LCSs covers versus Kickstarters. And so what Murphy did was she said, okay, we'll come back. We'll do special editions for the Kickstarters just to take care of everybody that supported up there.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
and that's how you do it. I mean,
Yeah.
really, it is. You take
I
care of
mean,
the
I'm
fans.
planning, one of the things I'm planning for issue number 4 is because, like I was telling you guys about changing the perspective, we're also changing writers. Because I wanted, I didn't want it to be one of those things, oh, hey, it's a different perspective. Like, I wanted it to feel that way. So Lori's coming in to write issues 4, 5, and 6. Also, being a female, she's going to be, that lays in more to the female perspective of the story writing. But like one of the things I'm planning to do for issue number 4's Kickstarter is, I'm gonna take a little, concepts from other Kickstarters, and we're gonna do like a couple of those 1/1s. So we're gonna have a couple of type metal covers that'll be in that as a tier you can purchase. And it'll be not a tier but an add-on, and it'll be a 1/1 metal cover, and it'll come signed, etc. And it'll be first come first serve, whoever gets it. So we're going to do a little bit of that just to give somebody some fun stuff to kind of go after. So
I love that stuff. I tell you what though, it pisses you off when you don't get that one that you want. you know, it's like I was trying to get the Marat Michaels one time and I couldn't get it, but luckily I got lucky and got the Ryan Kincaid one.
there you go.
So I'm like, okay, at least I got one of them. But sometimes you just miss out on it.
Yeah,
It's like, um, but it's like the art. Everybody knows that you support them. So it's like that's what they're here for.
yeah, that's
You
what
know,
it's all about. Yeah, it's all about you want them to keep doing this, and you want them to keep being creative. But the only way we can do this, the only way we can, because it's a huge leap for those that may be unaware of this. Making your own comic is not cheap on any level.
yep.
And then trying to do it at a certain level of quality is even more expensive. When you're bringing on artists like Steph Wilson and Tone Rodriguez and Miko and just to name a few, those things start adding up, to have these things created. So the only way we can keep doing it is the fans coming in and supporting those Kickstarters. That's why we try to stress that it's not about whether you read horror comics, especially when you're doing affordable Kickstarters, because $10 isn't shit to nobody.
No.
$20 isn't anything to nobody. You can go over there and grab a $10 book off of Kickstarter because you may think that $10 doesn't matter, but it really and truly does. And then the sharing, of course, helps out tremendously. So that's why we try to encourage people, whether you're a fan of horror or not, or whatever the case the book might be, support it anyway, even if it's just buying one book on the Kickstarter or something like that, because that all adds up. If everybody just kicks in a little bit, we can keep this ball rolling, and who knows, give it a shot, read it. You may actually like it.
And that's how it was for me for Psycho Sal. I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it a chance because like I'm a horror guy. That's why I love anything horror. I'm gonna buy typically. So my buddy Jeremy Clark said, "Hey, we're doing this series called Oh My God, a horror
Oh
anthology."
yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so let me pick it up, and not knowing that Tone was working on it too. And I started reading it, and it's like, dude, this is like an anthology. This is like Creep Show. You read through like the different parts of it, and
Yeah.
what I like about it, it's like the old Marvel Comic Presents, where you would have so many pages for this writer and this artist. So
Yeah.
they just did that, and I love that. And so I'm reading that, and then Tone told me about, hey, we got this book Psycho Sal too, and I was like, okay, let me take a look, and that's when I got his cover, and I'm like, okay, and I started reading it, and then we started talking, and this is when Psycho Sal 2 Kickstarter was running, and I'm like, let me get the back issues, let me read through everything, and I'm like, this is a phenomenal story. You got to give it a chance. Like I will give any book a chance at least once to read through, just to see how it is. Everybody's got their own interpretation. They have their own way of writing. Chris has his way of writing, so Laura's going to have hers. But you got to be open to that too, because
Yeah.
with the concept of knowing it, it's a different perspective,
Yep.
of this. So you got to think of it as that way. So I like what you guys are doing. I can't wait to see, especially with 4, what's going to happen.
Three, like 4 is really going to be out of control with Lori, because I've already read the script for 4 with Lori and introducing this new character named Tony, this sweet young college girl, this absolute sweetheart. And but issue number 3, that one's the one I'm super excited to get into everyone's hands too, because that's the last part of Chris's writing, and I love Chris's writing. But he went balls out on issue 3. Like, it's creepy, it's uncomfortable, and that's what I wanted, because I want Psycho Sal to be terrifying. I want it to be a case of you being paranoid. And issue number 1's a little bit of a slow burn, and then we start turning up the heat a little bit with issue number 2, because we got to do this in 9 issues, so we can't just throw it all in issue 1 and 2. So, issue 1, you're introducing the characters, you're introducing what's going on, you're building this connection with fans to the people that are there. And then we slowly start turning it up a little bit in issue number 2. But issue number 3, that's where you get to see a lot of interaction between Psycho Sal and one of the victims, and how uncomfortable and creepy and terrifying he is. And then, like I said, when issue 4 and 5 rolls around, it's like from 3 on, it's one hell of a roller coaster ride. Like, we're going to be doing some stuff in there that you may not have seen in horror movies before, and then some tropes you may have seen. There's going to be some Easter eggs for things and stuff like that as we move along. So yeah, like I said, I'm super excited. We got like 4 or 5 days left on Psycho Sal number 3. So if you guys haven't had a chance to back it, please go over and
back it.
We'd love to hit the $6,000 mark, just so we can, because I think it's hilarious as hell. A Psycho Sal condom. But we've already unlocked like 5 stretch goals already. Like I said, we put ours closer together than what most people do. We just want to give more stuff that's just fun and silly out to the fans. But yeah, make sure you guys go support it. Make sure you guys go share it for sure. And like I said, with the Miko cover, it's a limited print run on the Kickstarter itself. And I believe they are almost gone. So don't miss out on that, especially if you're doing the all covers pack, because once the medals, I think it's only 25 of them. Once the medals are gone, that means the all cover pack is gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like they got right now the medal, it's going to go. All these are going to go. The Miko ones are all going to be gone probably by the end.
You'll have a lot of people. They'll wait till the last like 2 days. For some reason, a lot of people do that. They'll wait till the last 2 days, and they will jump on and grab a bunch of shit. So definitely don't mess around and wait till the last minute, because the Mikos were going to be gone. So and they will not be available outside the Kickstarter. Every single cover that you see on that, other than my cover, the rest of those covers are Kickstarter covers only. They will not be available on a future Kickstarter or on my website or at my table at cons. They won't be available anywhere like that. So definitely don't miss out on those.
Definitely back it. Well, William, I've had a blast tonight, bro.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I didn't even realize we've been talking 3 damn hours, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for having me on, man. And if you get a chance, reach out to the other guys from Charter Comics about being on your show. Chris Hayes, McLean McGuire. That McLean's the letterer on my books. He, not to mention tons of other behind the scenes stuff. That dude's a beast. And then Chris, has done the writing. He's written many other horror comics and stuff like that. But make sure you guys give Charter Comics a follow. They got a lot of great books under their umbrella already. They are definitely not playing.
I mean, and they're one of my favorites to read, just because, we have books like this, the Ferryman. I love reading Ferryman. I mean, both versions, Don't Pay the Ferryman and Ferryman Origins.
Yep.
This is the tone.
Did you get the newest book, the Ferryman?
Not yet.
The Death?
Not yet.
Oh, dude, that one's good.
Yeah. I got to pick it up, but
Yeah,
I've
that
not
one's
got
good.
it yet.
And his next one he's about to do is going to be insanely good. It's Ferryman, but it's Valhalla. So it's about
Okay.
Vikings. I just finished my cover for that one today. I'll scan it tomorrow and send it off for color. But I've seen some of the other covers for Valhalla. They are freaking badass. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that.
And I'm gonna put Charter's link down here below.
Oh yeah, cool. Thank you. Yeah, definitely give Charter Comics a follow. Like I said, it's a great group. McLean and Chris are doing incredible stuff with that publisher and that label. So and they're the type that they put fans first and they put quality books first. So like I said, they got another Kickstarter that'll be starting soon. That is going to be about squirrels that are hitmen, and I that one's going to be
I saw that picture
of
the nut job.
Oh yeah, it's going to be so good. And then also be sure to check out Lori. Like I said, she's coming on to write issues 4, 5, and 6 of Psycho Sal. Make sure you guys give her a follow and check out Path of the Pale Rider. Her issue number 3 is in Kickstarter right now, which I do have a cover for. And it's off at color right now, being colored also. So we'll have the full color reveal here soon. She did a reveal of the pencils the other day, so you can see what the cover's visually going to look like. But yeah, just make sure you guys give a follow, give a share. And like I said, Nate, thank you so much for having me on your show. I definitely appreciate it, especially letting me ramble for 3 hours.
I enjoy it. I always have fun with you guys. And that's why I like doing this with everyone, because sometimes you guys don't get an avenue to just vent other than on your Facebook page, sometimes. And sometimes be able to just talk about what's coming up and what's coming down the road. Like when we get ready to do Psycho Sal 4 or anything else, we'll definitely have you come right back on, because I do the same thing for everybody. Like, I don't care. I have fun. This is what I do every Friday night. I like to enjoy and have fun with everybody.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Like I said, we appreciate anyone that gives us a platform to share our stuff. And sometimes it's a 15-minute platform. Sometimes it's a 30-minute, or you may be sharing it with other people. And so your time is. So I definitely appreciate you, giving me a chance to, like I said, kind of talk comics in general or talk art in general, and on top of the promoting for the stuff we're working on. So yeah, I definitely appreciate it. I appreciate giving such a huge time frame on the platform.
Oh, you're definitely welcome. I'm gonna put your other link on here too.
Oh yeah, the
art
Vladimir one too, and that's where you guys can find me. You can find me on. I've got 2 Facebook groups. Make sure you join the groups. Again, that's where we do early bird announcements for everything. That's where you get access to raffles and giveaways and things like that. Which I do need to do another raffle here soon. I've just been so busy I hadn't had time to do one, because we just wrapped one up the other day. But yeah, definitely.
Money.
Yeah. We did a Department of Truth number 10 signed and remarked 9.8. But yeah. So I'm gonna get off here and get my butt back to. I'm gonna actually work just a little bit longer, and then call it a night. But yeah, Nate, thank you guys so much for everybody that watched.
Thank you, everybody.
Here. So
you guys have a good night. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right, brother. You have a good night.
You too, man. Y'all take it easy now.
All right, man. Bye.
Good night.